don't get is... Oh, no, I was going to say we don't get Hilenda. Oh, I don't even know what the other map is. What are we missing?
Eh?
What, is there a map we're missing? Kawasan. Oh, Kawasan and Socotra. Interesting. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected those ones to be the ones that are eliminated here, but apparently opting for that. Okay, so Ottomans being eliminated first. Great. China next. Makes sense. French first pick. And there we see VortiX showing us exactly how he's feeling. Aggressive.
Yes. I'm really just mostly curious what civ they're going to pick at the start here, because Arabia's going to sort of set the tone. Ottomans being banned out. Chinese being banned out. No huge surprises, right? Do you see the difference in which Japanese style they want to ban out, right? So Anotand banning out the Sengoku and VortiX opting to ban out the Japanese proper. It's kind of an interesting little mix-up there. Curious if that comes into play, right? Obviously, with the snipes, you have a lot more control over what you're matching up against in each match, which I'm really curious how this is going to play out like long term if we're sticking with the snipe system for more tournaments. I mean, it's been around to a degree in some capacities, right? For a couple years in various formats, and how are you feeling it's going at this stage? I know that's kind of a weird question, but how do you feel about the snipe?
The snipe system, love it. I think the snipe system just adds that interesting layer to things. We actually used to use the snipe system in our female events because we felt like players would most likely just be completely overwhelmed by one civilization, back then it being English. So English would get sniped every single game, but it was also just because people had a limited civ pool. Here, that's not the case. These guys don't have a limited civ pool. They can play almost anything, but you always have a civilization situation where you're like, hey, I don't want to face this on that map. And I feel like this system gives us exactly that, because there were so many instances where you would get a civ on a map and you're like, oh, that's GG. There's more than one chance to do so, and you can eliminate one you're not too comfortable with. So, snipe system, big yay.
Big yay, no nay. That's exciting. You know, I like it a lot. I think it adds a lot of variety to it. I wonder as a player how hard it is to play for, because typically it's like, okay, there's a couple bans, you might expect some civs to get banned, and then you can normally think of, okay, I'm going to play this civ on this map, this civ on this map, this civ on this map, right? But that not being how it actually plays out, I feel like adds a huge depth of challenge where you need to have like multiple civs prepared for each one. Wait a minute. Did all the civs just move? Did we swap names? What?
No. Did Anotand first pick French and VortiX didn't? But VortiX picking Malians makes sense. Oh, guys,
Okay.
we just got bamboozled. And English. We see English.
Bamboozled.
Guys.
So now it makes sense. Everything makes sense.
VortiX also picking English. I'm back on track. I understand everything. I'm back in this universe. I was going to get to it, but now everything makes sense. VortiX has always been a proponent of the English. When players are like, this civilization's dead, a man's like, actually, let me show you. So my money's on VortiX for this match because I'm a big enjoyer of English and I respect a man who can still pull out some longbows. But for our first map here, we have Macedonians pick and Malians getting out, which I'm pretty shocked about.
I feel like Malians, it's just the way to go. I feel like Malians here are going to be goated.
Malians has been goated for
I'm a Malian fanboy in the sense that I think they're the best civ. I said this earlier today. I think it's the best civ. I think it's the strongest by a little margin, by a small margin. I think obviously Ottomans have a ton of flexibility and power as well, and you see players preferring to ban it, but I think that Ottomans aren't as good as Malians. And you know what? All the pros disagree with me because they ban Ottomans first. So surely I'm right, you know?
Winston, at some point you gotta ask yourself, do I develop the game or do they develop the game? And maybe I know. Now, of course...
Yeah. No, I think they know way better than me, but I still think Malians are goated. It's true.
They definitely haven't lost many games. I mean, we don't see them often because people are worried about them. The cow nerf that came in 2 patches ago, it felt like it was going to do something, but eventually they're still pretty much on top. Although Delhi and Japan being the picks here as well. I understand why he banned Macedonians on Dry Arabia. with Macedonians, you're very comfortable moving out of your base with the landmark. Malians, they do have their vulnerabilities. Sure, there are instances where you're like, hey, it's a little bit overwhelming. But Malians, if you get golds in a very peculiar spawn, it's something you can shut down. And this is why I think he let Malians through on Dry Arabia. Your spawns are all over the place. Very often you can get a spawn where Malians becomes a liability. Not a huge liability, but a liability.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. The lobby is getting ready. That's the status of this qualifier right now. This will be a best of 7, so you got to think about VortiX's, like, Anotand had the two benefits here. One is he had a nice little break in between his first set and this one, and another benefit is he kind of just got to see VortiX. And I think there's, like, value in that. VortiX was mostly focused, right, in his gameplay, focusing on what he had to do in that last set, whereas Anotand kind of got just to sit back, relaxed, and to watch the games. I'm sure he wasn't relaxing all that much. I'm sure he's really focused on what he was going to draft, on seeing how VortiX was approaching some of these matches and these matchups, right? Because that's something that's going to be really critical if he's going to want to win. I kind of think of Anotand as a slight underdog here. I think VortiX has been just so dominant for so many years as a top, consistent top 4 player, right? And I think very few people really doubt that. Maybe you could say 5 in recent years, but like definitely not in my book. I still think he's a top 4 high quality player. And Anotand, I mean, what do you think's going through his head right now, right? Like, I'm guessing they're pressing HQ and sending bills to resources right now, but I mean, at this stage, 3 minutes ago of real time, just because they're a little ahead, yeah, you get it.
He's like, yes, I'm from Belarus. My hands are a little cold right now. And I watch my opponent, I see he's very aggressive. Not problem. I get Japan. I am more aggressive than men, so not problem. When he plays little Malians, I make rams. We kill them very quick. So, getting ready for this game, not problem. I don't think it's going to be too difficult. So I think Anotand's feeling good about this, especially getting Japan. You feel pretty good about yourself in general. And I think Japan is one of those few civilizations that holds up against the Malians. You might say it's the best. Japan has a few answers to what they try to do, and they are pretty good ones at that. What about you? How's VortiX feeling? Since you were in Spain at some point in your life, can you do tell me a little bit about the Spanish mindset?
I dare not do a Spanish accent. I dare not. Yeah, no, I think he's probably, I'd just be speculating. He's pretty calm, cool, and collected most of the time. I feel like he's a player who's very, relaxed and focused, if that makes sense. I think right now he's probably feeling good, especially after some convincing games. We just saw him in that interview a few minutes ago after the set against Beastie, and he seemed just very confident. So curious to see how that's going to pan out here, if that confidence is warranted against the Anna Chad, the GOAT.
The GOAT. Everyone's the GOAT. Oh, okay, yeah. Anna Chan's our GOAT. VortiX also a little bit of a GOAT. Yeah, you see...
I didn't call VortiX the GOAT.
What? What about... they're not... VortiX is my GOAT today.
You're just... yeah, he could be your... Earlier I said Baltoon and Anotand are both the GOAT. Okay, I haven't listed a GOAT since. There's been no other GOATs afoot.
Okay.
Goatless mountaintop.
Well, we'll have to see if there's any GOATs on that King of the Hill when they get there later, but... I honestly, with the draft in general, I do like VortiX's draft a little bit better. Sure, I want to love Anotand's draft. You have to keep in mind this. Anotand is, I would say, the younger player on the block. Younger player, I say in quotations, but he's the younger player, and VortiX has been here for so long. This is also VortiX's second set in a row. Usually 2 sets in a row, it still puts you at your peak. You actually get to a position where you're warmed up, you feel good about it. Anotand's now, he played his game, he sat back. Some players do well with that. Some people don't do well with all of it between. So, all in all, I think VortiX's draft is a lot better because you do have a civilization for every map. Anotand, sure, he's got good options. And I mean, if I look at this, he has KT and Toklak for Holy Island to pick, which is pretty crazy. But... yeah, all in all, I hope Anotand can pull this through. we're seeing Delhi not being that high of a prio pick, though, and Mongols being picked too. Players have been saying it's weak. We'll see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. Malians, the goat of goats. The goat of the civs. The goat of goats. My goat. The Malians. The Giga Chads. Let's get this going. Come on. Game one.
Cal, put him out of his misery.
I just wanted to start. I can't say anything else as a goat at this stage. And we have an Anotand classic, Dark Age Aggression. Let's see it. Units coming out. It's so good against Malians to get some early pressure on. It can force some crazy reactions, and if your build order with Malians isn't ideal, it can be rough. He does immediately spot it though. VortiX not messing around. Coming right across the map. He needs to see if this aggression is coming out, as players often do, and you can see leaving just at 2 houses makes a lot of sense. He'll get enough gold to age up. Things should be okay. We're going to see, what is this, more houses? Or are we going for the outpost?
Power,
the outpost
of course.
is the play.
This is something he knows how to respond to, because of course he's played this a million times. When you're up against someone playing the Japanese, you know what's coming. And with 2 spears, it's enough of an investment for you to have to react. The problem is those spears will arrive pretty quickly, and you having a forward gold, this does not feel too great. I want us to just take a quick look at the rest of his golds that are around that map. Could we just get a little bit of a vision as that poor boy is about to arrive? Tower in hand, 1 gold to the side there. That's it. Okay. We are in a tough position here for Mr. VortiX. VortiX... And that's the problem.
The timing is here. The timing is here. I think he can finish this.
He definitely
it's not
can.
the end of the world.
Yeah. Having to pull those extra villagers doesn't matter too much. You can still drop off a few sheep and they can get to work pretty quickly. And we do see the extra vill going to build the houses. The 2 spears will be the only things that Anotand invests in the early game. And from here on out, it's just smooth sailing forward. Anotand's already gotten his Tawara upgrade as well. So he's probably just sitting back and chilling, going to his feudal.
Tomato. Get it? Like tomato. Tomato.
That was really funny, Winston. It's good.
I took a bow, but no one saw it, so it kind of just didn't really pan out the way I thought it would. But that's it. All right, let's see.
He is... No, nothing crazy, Winston. Of course, this is the early game. We see our 2 spears. We've done what we needed to. So a lot of people, this is where I like to do the noob cast, by the way, on my channel sometimes, where I'm like, okay, let me explain to you what's happening. So Twitch, while nothing is happening, let me explain to you the thought process here. So you build a tower because it shuts down everything. You don't take any risks and build the houses too far. Your villagers are right there under the tower so that they can pop in and out to fire at the spears who dare crosses, any lands. You don't want to be idling a villager just to be putting it inside, so you want to put them as close as possible. But Anotand, this is still good for him. He's got 2 spears on the map. He's going to be able to, swirl around, do a little bit of counter pressure. He's already got 1 on the gold. The other one is most likely, yes, going to make life a little bit harder for poor little VortiX to move out and go on the deer. You can see with that 1 spear, he's able to push the deer very far apart, so a mill is not going to be enough to secure the deer. So this is all boding pretty well for Anotand. So even though he didn't kill anything, the investment is there. And what does this do for him? This puts him into a spot where he can do whatever he wants. And what he wants right now is aging up with 2 villagers, which tells us the story of a fast castle boy, if he so prefers. Because Japan, they very often go for a fast castle, because most civilizations don't have a response to that. Especially with those mounted samurais, they have that shield. It's something that just takes it that extra level where you need to shut it down with very inferior units. Now, of course, VortiX is going to start producing already the moment he spots this. With Anotand, though, he's got fawn wood. And when you have fawn wood, I'm a little bit concerned that we might not just see a clean, fast castle, but rather a responsible castle.
Responsible fast castle, indeed, yeah. Only 1 vill on the Kura is going to be a really slow age up, but yeah, like you said, it's not really a big deal. There's no super threat of pressure coming in right across the map right here, because Malians, they want to make their investments themselves anyways, and that's what we're seeing actually is a little bit of a switch up from VortiX actually. He's going for stable, he's power building that with 2 vills, so he wants that ASAP. But
Now,
the ranch shortly to follow as well. And I'm curious what like the game plan is here. Are we going to see Sofa?
Now,
Potentially.
you always see Sofa. That's the beautiful part. Now, not initially. Sofas aren't the protocol initially because, of course, you want to spend your gold on those cows. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's got 2 cows. He's ready to build a pen for them. But with the scouts that he has, he's now getting them upgraded, and they are going to be the punishment. So if Anotand decides to go, hey, fast castle, he has to get that tower. And that's exactly what he's doing already because he knows this is happening. So the responsible castle in this case is just him going for a tower as well. And now 3 cows VortiX just means he's going to have a little bit of a boost of economy. And look at that. The spear doing work, even though it goes down, it forces a reaction out of his opponent, which means things are happening slower.
Indeed, and we're gonna get those castle age pretty quick here for Anotand. Nothing like alarming in this context. Nothing too slow, nothing too fast. Curious. I don't think we're gonna see any like deviations here from Anotand, right? Do you think it's just gonna be Mounted Samurai, loading gate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
That's what I'm thinking.
when you're up against a civilization that goes for sofas, yeah, sofas are great, but Mounted Samurai and Mass really do a number on them. So even if he would need to use them initially to at least defend a little bit, oof, and you can see with these scouts, he's going to be able to idle out the gold just a bit, but that's all it's going to do. It's just going to idle out the gold. There's no real damage that can take place just yet. You just want to make sure that your opponent is as delayed as possible, and now getting a sofa in the mix is going to make this harder and harder for him to gather. But he doesn't mind taking this little bit of damage, because he's perfectly fine fighting this out and getting to that castle age and getting the relics, etc. But VortiX, he's not the kind of guy who lets you do it for free. And you see him building that barracks. He knows what he needs to do.
Yeah, it's going to be a little dicey because there's not going to be enough gold to do anything. With all the idle time that's being forced, you're going to hit castle age and maybe be able to afford like 1 night at this stage if we even have a stable up yet. A lot of idle time has been forced out, so it looks like just a few spearmen going to be the choice. Just try and hold this position. I love this play from VortiX. This is so smart. Keep the villagers, stop them from working. Force more spears. Force a bigger reaction than you're getting.
And you can see he's taking some good trades already. That is a beautiful connection, though.
I don't think VortiX wanted that sofa to run that way. I think he meant it to run south and outside of the TC. That's crazy. But he is getting his eco setup together back at home a second. Eric's even more done, so really respecting the threat of those Mounted Samurai.
And this is usually the issue for Malians. When they are the ones aging up, they usually die because they don't have enough units. But VortiX, he's making units. He knows what's happening. He knows what's coming. And who knows, it's going to be a lot of Mounted Samurai. But let's go see what he puts down. And it's a stable. Surprise, surprise. Stable's going to be our method of...
I've never seen that before. What? I've never seen this.
You can see VortiX already doing his transition as well. Ooh, is he going to get a connection?
Enough for everybody to get in the room.
He gets a kill. That is...
Didn't garrison in time.
Yes, and this shows you VortiX's aggression. He knows when to land. Anotand, if you just lag behind a little bit, things can just snowball. But we see more and more Donzos. One sofa being added in here and there. And this is going to be so critical. Oh, and another one. Oh, he doesn't react in time.
Another one.
VortiX is just too fast.
He's going to get housed. He's going to get housed. No, it should be fine. But yeah, no, that's... some spice certainly at play. We do have one of the relics has been brought in, I believe. Yes, but is there a home yet for it? I don't think so.
Now,
He's grabbed a relic, but not done anything with it.
He just wants to bring it back to home. And he's got 2 Mounted Samurai as well now. So this is now where you need to start moving out and do work. But Malians, they're just cow booming.
It's so hard to pressure them when they can defend their golds like this, right? We see the gold in the north is getting now walled in as well. And the Danso are going to be more than comfortable just protecting this. And VortiX is getting the ideal setup. So the later castle age isn't ideal. Or, sorry, isn't perfect against Japanese, you know, they're able to grab these relics with those Shinto priests, but overall, I think VortiX is going to feel very comfortable that his game plan is largely going off without a hitch.
Now, Anotand's got to ask himself, I'm not getting any damage. Marlians has a very steady eco here, already 17 cows ready for him. Sure, my mounted samurais are going to be a little bit better, but I either need to find damage or I need to find a way to get more ahead. So for him, this could be getting all the relics, or it could be just, you know, attacking. But the problem is just he cannot lose these mounted samurais. We can see he's also transitioning now into a little bit more of a Yumi composition so that he has an answer to all those millions of Donzos.
Check. Okay, just a scout. Sorry, I was just curious if that was something more dangerous. Sorry.
Now, the question for me is, if he just makes sofas, aren't those Yumis just going to melt like butter?
Potentially. I mean, they'll have a lot of space to maneuver on this field, right? Until there's a lot of sofa out, right? You don't want to move forward with the sofa because they could just get dunked by a quick clap from the samurai or from the spearmen that are on the field. But yeah, without that spears, without that Yumi yet, it is a little bit risky. VortiX, though, isn't Castle Age yet, so he's critically not with the imported armor tech yet. So that's one of the things that really makes those sofa pop archers later on, right?
And for now, they will stay safe. But you have to ask yourself, now, with the military count being equal, and you know, a lot of those being mounted samurai, ooh, one of them going down, that's a massive loss here. But the sofas, they're looking for blood as well. The Yumis, though, perfectly kiting already. Mounted samurais, they are looking like they're about to be spearman victims, but no kebabbing today, he says, microing backwards. Anotand just trying to snipe out every bit of Donzo he can.
Oh, gets low there, not quite, and fully committing with the Donzo. This is quite the aggressive play from VortiX. I don't know if he should be taking an engagement into this as the Yumi are just picking off the Donzo one at a time, comfortably, easy peasy lemon squeezy. The sofa count getting low. Same with the Donzo. Okay, he's going to be able to back up here. That feels like that was a comfortable trade for Anotand. And now VortiX forced to re-max on military instead of picking up. This is a very vital delay to his age up.
You might be a little bit concerned about this, and sure, this is a little bit dangerous as those sofas are running onto the archers. Ooh, and the sofa numbers are starting to get scary. But look at the food per minute. The food per minute is all the way there for VortiX. Even though he's in feudal, this is not the full cow boom in all of its glory with the Fulani. This is more than enough for him to keep the pump going. The sofas are doing amazing work. Now the Yumi archers trying to focus fire so low HP sofas instead, and they are doing just that. But VortiX feels confident enough to keep going, and Anotand does not have the food for this. We can see him being out there on berries as well. And VortiX now, when he starts aging up, this gets even scarier.
Do we still not have a monastery, or is it full? Yeah, we still don't have one. He's just dropping him on the ground. Oh, that's so funny. He's building them now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Anotand, his micro was pretty hot there with, you know, less numbers and a potentially scary situation. Able to keep the Yumi mass alive. He did trade away a lot of those mounted samurai, and yeah, I think that's a lot of credit to VortiX's strategy here to go for the sofa and Donzo composition. I think it's definitely panning out here. We'll see, though. The Castle Age is something that he's looking at. He wants it, but maybe feeling like he needs to commit more to military. No, he's got it.
He's got it. He knows he's got it. See, this is now a position where he's taken down a significant portion of Anotand's army already. And him hitting castle is going to feel good. We do see a little bit of stone in the pocket of Anotand, though. And with this, he could potentially add that second TC, get a little upgrade or two, but now he needs to do something with it, because right here is no damage to be found. You see the Fulani about to be done, and the problem is this is a full Lani. This is not a half Lani. This thing is completely full. But that TC completely idle for a minute and almost 30 seconds now.
Now a little bit of pressure here. Malians do get the fast veterancy upgrades, right? So they're quick at catching up here, so they can get a lot of stuff here. So yeah, Vet Donzo, Vet Sofa. Imported armor, not click just yet. It is a critical tech, but a little bit less so against the Yumis who have slightly less damage, so maybe it's not a rush order in this context. This is exactly where Malians just sort of come into their full self, right? This is where you want to be.
And this is not where you want to be as Japan, because now with that second TC is added, it's going to take a while to get online. Well, with Malians, they are online. And right now, it's just a matter of time before that army gets out of control. The Sofa numbers are already getting there. Now the Onamushas are a pretty decent answer to them. You just need to micro them. And that might be the issue where this comes in. Pound for pound, the Sofas just do a little better against this composition of Anotand. Anotand also struggling significantly here for food. He's now moving over to the deer, trying to wall that off. Very responsible of him. Because when you're up against a Sofa player, you know the raids are coming.
Mm-hmm. And just keeping his army defensively positioned. Yeah, I like what you said about the Onimusha, but I kind of feel like they're really good here, though. They kind of counter everything textually.
If you are the micro master and in huge numbers.
Chad, do you not believe?
I believe. I believe in one of my goats, one of my two goats.
I thought you said VortiX was your goat going into this, but yeah, no.
Yeah, he's my other goat. He's my other goat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Now, with VortiX, he's just doubling down on the Sofas. He knows the power of these. If you get enough, those archer fires, they are barely gonna make a dent. The Onamusha numbers steadily growing, but not too much of an investment. Spearman being the name of the game here. And this makes a lot of sense. With Spearman, you have an answer to most, but I do see some javelins being queued up, and usually that's not a unit you see being made in Castle.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky unit because one of the problems with them is that when you have huge masses of units, right, like a large masses of ranged units, the javelin starts to feel a little bit less effective as a counter because that's where you have one-shots just being a factor. So, like, you have enough archers and you're one-shotting the javelin, well, javelins are one-shotting you back, right? And it doesn't really feel like that much of an advantage. Whereas in smaller numbers, they can be really good at just picking off with solid micro. And I think VortiX might just make kind of a critical mass vibe with the javelin. I don't think we're going to see like 60 javelins here, but I could see us making like 15 and using those just to snipe, one-shot the Onimusha and sort of slow down this build-up that Anotand has been going for. Because Anotand is starting to look like he's trying to wall off the sides. Maybe go for a push down the middle here. The raids. I did catch VortiX off a little off guard. Oh,
he's trying to find some damage, and it means he does need to find significant damage. And you can see he now spots, yay, going for food here, I see. So the passive food he gets from the cows, it's great, but he has to still be careful. Because with all of this, Anotand is slowly ramping up this army, still getting more and more spears, trying to snipe what they can over there, but the wall saves the villagers' lives, and Onamushas will not be landing too soon. But you can see VortiX is spread out all around this map. He's feeling like, with Malians, you do feel that little bit of confidence about moving around, not being the one who's targeted the whole time, because you usually have the slippery units everywhere. And I'm just not feeling that aggressive VortiX in this game.
Wait, there's one cow who doesn't fit. How do you think it feels to be that cow? He didn't get a home.
I mean, we should probably ask our producer, right? For cow being called out like that.
He should have a ranch.
That's our
Every cow should
producer,
have a home.
right there.
There's 2 cows without ranches.
Poor thing. Maybe he'll find the other cow at some point. They get a little ranch together and live a happy life. Well, until Anotand starts to raid and burns down their whole house.
Yeah,
that's deep. I saw it. No, Winston, calm down. We're not going that far.
No, we're gonna kill the cows. I love playing Malians, but yeah, it's one of the saddest things when your ranches start getting taken out.
Now,
how many relics did Anotand end up getting? Is it all 5?
3 right now. There's 2 more on the map, as we can see there. A little bit more to the south, there's 2 relics, but I see a red blob moving forward. And right now, blob. I'm quaking in my boots for this poor man. There's a lot of spears in the mix, sure, but the archer numbers are scary too, and these farms feel very unprotected.
Yeah, and honestly, the relics too could get snagged here. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. The market being the first target, not the most vital structure in Anotand's base, but I mean, the relics being taken out is actually a huge loss of economy. A lot of that gold.
That's a significant portion.
And Anotand's just letting this happen to his base, I suppose. He's even going to lose one of the buildings with the Yorishiro in it.
This is
gold being lost.
Ooh, but the TC is firing back. We can see that's a spicy TC. One sofa at a time going down. But this is still a massive army, and VortiX has replaceability behind it. Anotand's food income is looking good as well.
He's going for the fight.
He's taking
Goes
it,
for the surround.
Is this the one he needs? It does look like the TC fire is helping immensely, but VortiX's army, it's slowly decreasing. Problem is, it is eventually gonna thin out here. The TC fire has been an immense help. The red lines of army just streaming towards him. With the problem is, the reinforcements are running right into the archers here.
This is textbook VortiX, though. He's just taking an incredible fight here, and the last few spears are going to get cleaned up on the left side of this fight, and then the economy behind is going to be exposed, and down go the spears and in go the sofas into the woodline in the back, the archers uncontested on the front. The few javelin throwers did make a difference, and now the villagers on the run. They might have a little bit of speed, but it's not enough, and you can see villagers idling left, right, center. The TC valiantly shooting its rockets like that scene in Mulan, trying to get that one critical hit on the mountainside, but there's no mountain, there's no avalanche, no act of the gods to save the base of Anotand, as every single villager will meet its demise in time.
Yeah, no, Anotand definitely got... Wow. That was some top-tier production right there. VortiX just vibing. He knows exactly how to make things happen, and saying he wants that spot at Wololo pretty soon. Anotand, though, he lost his army. Sure. But he still has a pretty significant amount of villagers here. The problem is just the red lines. They keep coming. It doesn't feel like anything's slowing down here.
This is just Malians. I'm telling you, Malians are goated. They're the best Civ. They're the best Civ by, like, a lot. I feel like they're so good. They're so good at hitting this timing. So few Civs feel like they can keep up with this production. If you don't put enough pressure on the cows and the two hit mines, everything just feels like it just snowballs into this crazy push. They have great units. And you can see here, just the desperation woodline is going to get spotted. The villagers on the run, as if they can sense death. They run into the enemy they know, which is the old army. Away from the enemy they didn't know, which is the new army. Oh no. And everything is idle.
Everything is idle, everything is dying, villagers are just screaming for help, every spearman going down. The amount of archers in this is just unfathomable, and the sofas just keep coming. You can see the sofas there at the wall, trying to just break through to keep this push going. But the income has completely plummeted, as we see that all of that idle economy is finally starting to add up for him.
Actually, somehow Anotand has more vills still. I don't get how. When you've lost 43? I get that there's a second TC. I understand that. I just mean like it's how, like metaphorically how, not not actually how. He just
it's like a
he
mindset.
has them because he trained them. It's a mental thing. Yeah, it's like a how, you know.
And he's still holding on. He's like, I got this, guys. He's like, I should just hold this for a bit longer. I am Japan. This is the most contested Civ right now. So let's see how this works. This TC, it's not ready for this type of push, though. We can see the archers now are poison arrows. Every single one is going to be hitting so well, especially with him kiting backwards. But just the spearmen are falling like flies. Second TC next on the menu. These sofas are hungry for it.
Yes, the sofas. Famously hungry.
Okay. Winston, I think I found my new main civilization on ladder. Thank you for joining me for this cast, and I'm gonna go play rank now, and I will go get Conk 3 with Malians.
With what?
Because this is disgusting.
With sofas.
No, yeah, of course, sofas too, but that's part of Malians. Disgusting. Just look at this. The food income doesn't even bend a bit. It's just a constant onslaught. It feels like if you can't kill Malians in feudal, you don't kill them.
Sometimes. I mean, I think there's ways to play around it. I think going FC and dealing no damage with timing is part of the problem of what happened here. Like, Anotand didn't really get any of his eco set up in a way that was, like, really, really crazy. I mean, we're seeing it's really close. Like, this was really tight. But in the end here, there's just still so much military in his base. And all the villagers on the north are still very exposed. These archers could end up finding this wood line again. Wait, the village went all the way up here. This is a gambit if I've ever seen one. It doesn't pay off. And VortiX is the first winner in this set here. First one to come out with a win. And this could be very meaningful because, you know, in a best of 7, it feels like every game ends up mattering, especially when it comes down to the wire. Like, you don't want to be left behind or thinking about this one game at the start that you lost. So VortiX is probably going to be thinking, okay, confident, calm, go into the next game. How are we going to come out ahead in this?
Not
Just worked out. Malians for the win. That's all I'm going to say.
Malians, the goat civilization. Got it. No, I can definitely see this already putting Anotand in a position where he says, oh, I should do a little bit more damage against VortiX. Cannot just sit in my base. Because honestly, it felt like the sofas is just constantly under pressure here. They are the things causing the pressure. And when you are the one getting to castle, you want to be the guy forcing mistakes out of your opponent. But we have Baldland coming up, and Anotand was spicy enough to think that he was going to get French, but VortiX quickly snipes it out. On the other hand, the same thing for VortiX. He was like, let me get some JD in here. But no, Anotand's opts for the Macedonians. And we've been seeing the French variety civs out here just being, or French in general, just being an absolute menace on Baldland. The tiny wood lines, big opportunities for raids. You just don't want a civilization with feudal knights to dominate your game.
Yeah, exactly. And here we see Byzantine versus Mac. I think it's going to be a fun matchup because overall there's a lot of similarities in how JD and French play out, but with Mac, like, it feels completely different with the timings and the whole, like, general style of flow and gameplay. Man, this battle was crazy. What a gutsy call from VortiX to say, okay, my army might be just a little bit better, but I still feel confident that I can fight under this super powered TC with the rockets.
Now that TC was deleting units one by one. I was just enjoying watching these sofa shots every single time. They just dare step under and fall like flies. And wow. Now, with this though, I think it spells a pretty dangerous game either way. Because Macedonians, they do have knights or Radari in feudal. So it still feels like this is something that Anotand needs to respect. But at the same time, is this maybe the one instance that Byzantines goes for a little bit of horse action themselves?
You think they're going to go the Keshet contract?
I don't think so, but I hope so.
I think what's more likely even is by some miracle is you go the javelin contract so you can get camels.
No.
Deal with Radari.
That's
but just
true.
so you get the camels and castle age with the western contract or the eastern contract. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Okay.
Silk Road one? I forget which one it's called. But the one with the javelin and camel I feel like could be really interesting here potentially, but like, I mean, come on. You're really gonna give up longbows? Like who says no to longbows? You can't. Look, if VortiX even drafted English. Because you just can't say no to longbows.
That's the real secret here. Just get more bows, more problems. Actually, oh wait. Oh, I thought Winston. I thought Cow just destroyed you. I'm sorry. I'm
trying to fix my camera, but whatever.
It's
okay.
Okay.
You guys can deal with blurry me. Blurry me is here to stay.
They just need your wonderful voice, Winston. Just immerse them.
Sure.
So, with the rest of this, though, this still means that French and JD are up for grabs later in this. And, I mean, looking at the maps, there's quite a few options here. We have Frisian Marshes, we have Hill and Dale. We've actually seen a Holy Island every now and again with these two civs as well. But I just feel like these civs have a pretty good place in this specific map pool at the moment. But ladies and gents, it's time for us to move on over to the boldest of lands with the smallest little woodlines. Let's go see who raids whose villages just that bit harder.
Ooh. Ooh.
Are you going to say anything
some
else?
Early act gear. No, I'm just intrigued by the act gear from the stronghold. I think this is an interesting play.
So getting the early ad gear is a little bit more expensive than you would usually. Those are 200 wood per production building, right? See. Okay, see, guys. So this means that you have to wait a little bit to just make sure that you can afford your spearmen in this scenario. But Winston, I love that you call them ad gears. It's like my new word for them. I really appreciate it.
I don't really know how to say it. It's ads. Can we click on one and just look at the name again? I have to learn because I've been calling it this. I call them ad gears. I don't say the second half.
I think that's a good idea. Ad gear. I go for it. But we have to put a R in there because the Macedonian dynasty. Ad gear. Yes. Oh my gosh.
No.
Stop.
No, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Back to normal casting. Yes. Okay, we've had enough fun.
Completely normal casting, because that's what we do. We do that here.
So, 2 of them, though. Pretty healthy investment, just like we saw previously with VortiX. VortiX invested 2 spearmen, and he's... Oh, wait. No, that was Anotand. I was on the wrong side. But the 2 investment is usually pretty standard here. Now, going for that 3rd as well, this just means we're committing to the Dark Age a little bit longer. Or at least we want to deny as much as possible. But these villagers need to be careful. Anotand, he's playing a dangerous game, especially against a civilization that has horses that love picking off little villagers on low HP.
Yeah, I think these are going to be villas that stay on the sheep for eternity, right? For the entire game. Maybe those become farm villas later. But yeah, no, it's an interesting opening from VortiX. Wondering if he's happy with that amount of damage. Like, you did force him off that front gold, but what are you really going to find? This isn't looking like a repeat of the game against Beastie, right? Where VortiX was able to get a ton of damage into those berries. These berries being in the back, and honestly, they look a little bit closer, but this is a different map, of course, but a little bit closer, a little more comfortable. Still not getting the winery. The Hippodrome going to be the play of choice.
So it's going to be...
likely of Hippodrome versus Hippodrome.
Exactly. I'm so excited.
Hippodromes. They're different.
Yes. The one gives you free units, the other one makes horses. And that's, yeah?
You get Triumph from the Byzantine ones. Triumph is such a critical ability. It swings fights in such a major way. It gives your horsemen a ton of damage and healing for the duration of that fight.
Winston, would you rather have Rodari? Or would you have horsemen with Triumph every now and again?
Is VortiX building a house?
Yeah,
no. Surely. He is.
I was going to say...
He is.
VortiX has shown us that you can be the best and still struggle to get the TC active at all times. But he's at least...
Well, it's always like a little like... It's what's it called? Misguiding. It leads you astray because it's like red here, you know? But it's not that big a deal because they're probably just building the house while the villager's being built or something. So it didn't lead to any idle time. Actually, 4 seconds of idle time. So maybe, you know, that's the end of the game, right? Game's over. 4 seconds idle time.
Yes.
GG no re. Go next.
No. Anotand is in a situation where he's already ready to build that first set of mercenaries, though. And that feels pretty good, especially when you're this early into your feudal, you know, you're going for horses. The problem is, VortiX is now the one who needs to produce a few horsemen to be able to counter this. And Anotand is going to have that timing on his side, at least for a little bit, because of the age up being a bit quicker. He does have a few spearmen to make sure that the raid doesn't land too easily, and you do see him pulling those red dots back all the way to the base. Ooh, what contract are we getting?
That is longbows.
Longbows, standard. Very nice.
I mean, were you really expecting something else?
I was hoping for something else, but I didn't expect anything else, unfortunately. This does put us in a spot now where Anotand wants to ideally keep these longbows at base for a little while. You don't want to move out with 5 longbows. Usually those get picked off pretty quickly. So with that, he's going to make sure that those horses are the ones doing the talking.
You call it talking, really?
Raiding
is talking? Is that just
Yes.
being chatty?
Yes.
Hello, come here, little villager.
Hello, little
I'm gonna read you a
villager.
bedtime story. It starts with the point of the spear.
This spear, it hits hard. Let me show you, yeah? So
Yeah,
Anotand...
yeah. Yeah, I like how the Byzantines are now saying yeah.
Oh, wait. Byzantines? We would say ne. Ne.
No, that's the horses.
It means yes in Greek. God damn it. Winston.
But it's also nay, which is what horses say. You know.
I'm American humor. Got it. I missed out.
What do your horses say? I know.
We do see that Anotand has the few horses there at the back, trying to find a bit of damage, but there's no red dots at the back there, so this front horse is going to be the only source of damage for him. VortiX, though, getting his horse-specific upgrades, which means that this is going to mean his horses are a little bit stronger, eh?
Yeah, just getting that a little boost on the HP is always nice as well on these. It goes a pretty long way. I think that sheep is about to get mercilessly slaughtered. That is cruel and unusual.
Now,
Evil.
he's got a lot of horses, and it takes me back a little bit to Beastie's game from earlier, where we saw the huge amount of horses paired with a handful of longbows with the Triumph. It just goes really well. Now, the horse here, trying to look for some damage, but VortiX, at the speed of a light, reacts.
I feel like VortiX is playing so sharp today, just generally speaking. I mean, he always is one of the faster players, but like, just seeing him in the previous tournament, or the previous series and the series now, it's really impressive. Curious if the longbowmen are really going to be able to make a difference here.
Now, it
Because at
does
some
look...
point you just switch, right? Into Radari, and what do they do?
Now, VortiX is nowhere close to thinking about those, as he's still making a lot of ad gears. So with the ad gears, the longbows are going to be able to handle this in these close engagements, but you have to get enough longbows to be able to do so. You see these horses actually struggling quite a bit to catch up to the scout here, and even if they do damage to it, it will probably heal back up pretty quickly. Now, Anotand is a little bit ahead here with the villagers, 2 villagers already. And I'm telling you now, Winston, VortiX, he likes a little bit of TC idle time, as we see 33 seconds idle time on that TC. So it makes the difference in a villager here, a villager there, but Anotand needs to find a way to actually make this matter.
I tend to think that like 1 or 2 vil difference isn't the end of the world in most games. Like, I think much more important than, like, maybe in mirror matches, it might be one of the most important things where you're doing the exact same thing, but I think generally speaking, it's the strategy that you're employing and like the micro that are going to be more decisive than like if you have or have not like another 100 or 200 resources of units, right? So I know it sounds like coping to say like, oh, a little idle time isn't a big deal, as it's something that's so easy to, in air quotes, easy, right, to fix in your own gameplay. But I don't know. I don't think it's like, you know, obviously VortiX is a top tier player, and it still happens for him. I think it's like fine. It's fine. I'm coping for VortiX right now. That's what's happening. If you can't tell, this is me coping for VortiX on behalf of everybody who's ever idled a TC, right?
Oh, we do now have a position here where players get to ask themselves the question, do I want to keep playing in feudal? Do I want to make units? And VortiX, he's making a sparing unit here and there. He's got 8 on gold though. And usually 8 on gold for a Macedonian, it means business. And usually that business is in form of a golden horn tower. And this goes both ways. So Anotand also edging himself towards floating a bit of resources here as he's making a bit of a Limited transition. Limited getting into position, but they are going to be met with a lot of horses. And let's see that reaction. Is he going to react on time? You can see VortiX's reaction is just that little bit faster. But they get activated. The villagers are fighting back.
They say, no, be gone, demons, and they grab the spears that they had somewhere in their rucksack and force those few raiders out. That now is on cooldown, and there was some damage dealt as well to those villas. They're pretty low, and now a fight in the center. The longbows, feeling bold, going to move out, knowing several of the horsemen are not here to defend. Gonna force VortiX off of the food there, which he just moved out to. Now, these deer packs are really small on this map, so it's not really the end of the world to get pushed off. Like, what, I think like half of a deer was remaining there. We'll see. Anotand now feeling bold, going out to the berries in the front of his base. Getting raid after raid. Things are going well for him here. He's got a nice villager lead. In one vill, 1.5-ish vills. He's got a nice little mill lead. His eco, though, going to be falling behind.
Now with him...
the castle timing.
Yeah, with him spreading out himself into the castle age, he's starting to bank up the resources for it. But the champion has arrived, as we can see, and that champion is no ordinary champion. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a Radari, and that Radari is about to have a level 2 upgrades as well. So this makes sure that it should be able to hit quite hard, especially with the castle age coming on in too. Now, a tower for a little bit of protection, but that little tower only houses a few villagers, and this attack feels like it's imminent.
Things could be getting spicy any moment here. The Golden Horn Tower is in a pretty passive spot, just securing the gold, but not even that, like, aggressively. Like, that gold could still maybe get a little bit raided. But for now, it's going to be the berries, obviously. But yeah, the gold in the front and on the left, both still a little bit exposed, with this Golden Horn Tower kind of, like, splitting the difference, if you will, just to secure the berries. So we'll see if that pays off or becomes a weakness that Anotand can exploit later.
And it looks like the Golden Horn Tower coming up for Mr. Anotand as well now. But there's a few red dots behind his base, about to pay him a little visit. The Mitane, they are in position to destroy anything that scares anyone on that army, but villagers popping in pretty quickly, as the upgrades are still pending for most of his units. Now, at Gimajir, they're gonna have their upgrades pretty soon. That's close enough, guys. You'll survive. Now, this Golden Horn Tower, it doesn't hit the same, because of course this one doesn't fire bullets, but it does put him into a spot where he's going to get those mercenaries constantly. And you have to ask yourself, do you want crossbows or mercenaries?
Oh, a little bit of a shenanigan. You want crossbows or mercs? Oh, I mean...
Both work fine.
I think the longbows... There's just an issue here where, like, if the longbows get caught out, it's really hard to replace them. And that's always the tricky thing with playing Biz, is that your army is kind of, at a certain point, it gets really hard to replace. So you're more cautious about taking crazy fights. Even when your economy gets really good, the wine income, the olive oil income, sorry, doesn't necessarily match and give you as much value later on in the game. Like, you're not necessarily going to have that big buildup that you've had over the course of the game, and the raids coming in, the Radari champion taking very little damage from the longbows. Counter raids, but the Atgears are there, the Atgear Matadors are there.
And you can see Anotand is desperately trying to make a connection to a villager, and every single time he does, he loses some units in that process. Both of them now losing 2 villagers total. And this is not massive, of course. You have Byzantines with a major economy lead, as they have 5 level 5 cistern. VortiX, on the other hand, he has the unit lead, I would say. So those cisterns, making sure everything is nice and inspired here, but there needs to be a move out here for the relics pretty soon. And neither of these players have thought about it just yet. Anotand slowly making his own little monastery.
Well, things coming together here for Anotand. I feel like his setup is starting to get solid, right? Tier 5 cisterns, everything is comfortable. Potentially starting to grab some relics as he's got the monastery, and forcing VortiX into kind of that rainbow army, right, to deal with the forces he's presented. And what is your thought on the Cataphract edition from Anotand? It's not something we see often, I want to say, from Biz, is heavy investment in Cataphracts, but when it works, it feels like it really works.
And it definitely deals with a lot of units that Macedonian could potentially make, but it's not part of that composition. So I'm a little bit worried about this. So usually with those cataphracts, you either want to be raiding or you want them to stomp on a bunch of ranged ones, especially. Get to the back line if there's anything blocking you. But this is still a pretty hard thing to do when there's a bunch of spears in this mix. VortiX, though, he does stop producing those ad-gears, and it looks to be only Radari from here on out.
Yeah, the raids have been, like, thoroughly refuted by Anotand in for the recent bit of time. So the horsemen and the free cavalry from the Hippodrome haven't really proven all too useful. A lot of their value, though, could come into the next, seeded battle in the center of the map if these champions are able to survive, right? The Radari champion being one of the most important, obviously. These auras that they provide are very useful for your army in big battles as well. So it's something where you really have to focus on that. Going forward, though, it looks like VortiX comfortable to just sort of play the map here, play everything out, spread out, just take control, keep Eco surviving in different pockets, and see if he's ever focused on grouping up and taking the fight to Anotand. And I think Anotand is going to be ready to match those cataphracts. They're very expensive, but that means that in a fight, right, Whammon, they're crazy powerful.
They can provide a lot of hits to be absorbed here, but you can see him not really ready to commit with these. So they do take a bit of a fight back off, and now the longbows are going to need to make sure that they make this matter. Longbows target firing, all those crossbows at the back. There's a lot of overkilling happening here, which means that damage is not spread as well as it needs to be. The Radari doing a good amount of work here. One crossbow staying alive between all of this, but it looks like the longbows will prevail, and definitely the focus fire paid off. Oh, and the Triumph, of
got
course.
activated mid-fight, and that meant that these cataphracts just did not want to die, and Anotand takes a decisive fight in the center of the field here. I mean, VortiX just came out to try and contest the map. He said, okay, I've got my Radari, I've got my Akir, I've got even some bowmen and some everything I need, I've got a little rainbow army, and it was just not enough to deal with the focused efforts of Anotand. The longbows were never traded down against, they just were able to keep building and building that mass, which is why players have decided just keep picking up the longbow packs, keep choosing the Western contract with Biz, and that meta has existed for a reason, and I think it will continue to as long as it can show time and time again that it works in games and situations like this. VortiX, he was feeling confident maybe after game one, but he's got to feel a little rattled here as Anotand takes a decisive win, taking the series to a tied state 1-1, Whammon.
Yeah, showing us that the original Byzantine civilization dominates here. But of course, this was well played just by Anotand by holding back again with the longbows, focus firing. And Radari, they raided, but didn't really land like we saw from VortiX in the previous games. Still in a state of the game where we could move out, go onto the resources, external resources, and Byzantines flourishes with that. Macedonian Dynasty and the Golden Horn Tower, they secured some resources, but it didn't feel like it actually gave them anything out of that. So, yeah, I think in a way here, VortiX maybe just took the wrong fight at the wrong time and it cost the game. So, yeah, Byzantine's economy looking good, yeah.
Looking good indeed. Yes. Yeah, that was solid stuff. What do we got up next? What's the next game here? What's the next map?
Is our producer.
Next situation.
You're asking them all the questions and they're just like ferociously pressing the buttons to show us the replays. And we have a little bit of a Zushi on Hillendale instead of Delhi. Ooh, that's an interesting snipe here. VortiX playing against Beastie's Delhi a little bit earlier and banning it out this game against this Ayyubids. I'm kind of intrigued.
Anotand played Delhi as well against Baltoon on Hillendale, and it looked really good. So it makes sense, I think, to take out a civ that I think Anotand is very good with. Delhi has proven to be a lot more flexible than it used to be in the past. It used to be a very kind of one-trick all-in aggression. But I think players like Anotand are showing that there's multiple ways to play Delhi. And those other ways are very formidable when played correctly. And I think it just fits Anotand's style so well. I feel like if I thought about anyone who's really good on Delhi, it might be VortiX. But beyond that, Anotand is such a solid player on it as well.
Now, with our rest of our map pool out here, we have to, because we have 3 minutes before the game starts, and we'll dissect a little bit of Hill and Dale, especially as we load in. Because sometimes, Winston, I feel like we're looking at these civilizations, especially Zushi and something like Aeobids, where no crazy things are going to happen in the early game. So I want us to just take a moment, look at what we've got left on the roster, and see maybe who can dictate what happens. We heard from Anotand earlier. He's feeling very confident on water. We know VortiX is exactly the same. So what we saw out of Anotand earlier, though, it was a destruction on Holy Island. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He knew where people overinvested. So if there's someone who can take down an absolute king on Holy Island, it would definitely be Anotand. But VortiX, he's still a big one to face. Big question mark that I have here is our Frisian marshes. Frisian marshes, it seems to have an ever-evolving meta. Every single week we see it. The one week we see this civ and that civ, and then everybody tries to play them. But then the next one, all of a sudden, people are going for triple dock instead of just a double dock. Then all of a sudden, we're going for barracks. Then all of a sudden, barracks is not worth it anymore. Then there's a tower rush. And it seems to be an ever-evolving meta. I don't really know if people have decided which one is best just yet.
It's hard to know if there even is one. It feels like being unexpected is the meta, right? And if being unexpected is the meta, then that kind of means there is no meta, right? Because by meta by definition infers, repeated, you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at. I could see a Ubids there. I could see HRV there for VortiX. But he's Ubids here. So now I don't even know.
Now everything's thrown out the door.
I was thinking of Ubids. I'm thinking of Ubids for Frisian potentially, but nope. That's going to be Hill and Dale, right? Because I'm smart and I can see see what's in front of us.
That's really important. I mean, as a caster, I think one of the biggest skills that you need is being able to read.
Or see, see in general.
That's
right?
a good one.
Having sight is a pretty critical role in the caster's,
requirements. I completely agree, Winston. But aside from that, we're getting Zushi. Now, Zushi on this map, I know we're getting a meditation garden. There's nothing crazy happening out of that. But the meditation garden, very often, the juiciest one is outside the base. Now, after Anotand faced VortiX here already in 2 games, I don't think he's going to be taking any chances. That meditation garden, you want to place it safely in your base. Make sure that you can extend the game as you need it. And Zushi is a civ that benefits off of a little bit of a delay. So guys, let's hop on in and see what these spawns have offered us. And I want to take a quick look at Anotand's base to see. Ooh, meditation garden, could we? I think we could. We could get all 3/4 resources in that spot. It would block out a little bit of our optimal placements later, but it does feel pretty good here.
Yeah, I wonder. It's interesting, the juicy landmark choice. Curious about it long term, for the game, but for now, it's really interesting. I think the meditation gardens on this map in particular is really fun. Yeah, I think it's just fun, right? Seeing it, if you can get a lot of the big 8Ks, that can always be like a big risk, but you don't think we're going to see anything crazy like that, do you? Like a medi here or a medi there? No way, right?
Anotand is not, he's spicy, but he's not that kind of spicy. He's still a Slavic man. He plays by meta sometimes. But he knows when to be responsible and when not to be responsible. And this is not the serious you go irresponsible meditation garden in, especially considering that with this age up, you're dealing against the Aeobids. And Aeobids, we've seen what they do time and time again. In Feudal, we just get our 2 dervishes into a pretty heavy pressure. Now, usually we want to take a quick look at the map to see what that pressure could look like. Ooh, House of Wisdom may have been forgotten there for a second, but he does pull the villager to finish it up now. And we want to ask ourselves, okay, are we playing Feudal? Is the map open enough for us to actually make something work out of this? Or am I going to be a greedy goose all the way to Castle? And with 3 on gold still, I see that VortiX is leaving that with a big question mark for us so far, but he pulls off a few villages from food straight onto wood. We're getting feudal aggression, and logistics is the name of the game.
Logistics, logistics. It's the dervishes. They're back and we love them. Yeah, the cambulances are really, really strong. We've seen them so frequently now. It's just such a strong landmark. I'm not really surprised by that, but I'm curious what the follow-up is going to be. We've seen some players going for various different things, Wayman. You know, earlier today, even, we saw the wonderful industry wing as the follow-up to logistics. So I'm curious if VortiX is going to follow suit in that, or kind of try something else.
Okay, Winston, this might seem strange to you, and it was strange to me for the first 3 weeks of casting that people were making industry wing, but I think it's the meta right now. I think so. It didn't make any sense to me. I took a little while to get used to it, but I think we finally made peace with the fact that this is now the meta. So industry wing is very viable recently, according to all the pros. So I know it sounds confusing, and you might have a lot of questions. This might be a very confusing time for you, but I promise it's working apparently. And you as a dev, can you tell me if this was intended?
I mean, we buffed it, I think, every patch we could for like 2 years. So yeah, not 2 years, but since it came out, haven't we buffed that wing almost every patch? Not every patch, but a little bit. Like, it's been like 50 more wood, then 50 more stone.
When are we getting chickens in the game?
What?
Yes, because imagine this. You could go, you're like, oh, we're going to go for the next wing into chicken wing. You know, there's some puns in there.
Oh
but
my gosh,
yes.
a chicken wing. I didn't even think of this. I didn't think of this. I thought like we have cows, and what more could you need than cows, right?
It's about the memes. Okay. And apparently we got a little whisper here in our ear saying reindeer. These Scandinavians, we gotta keep them under control. But the cambulances are underway, and we see a stable coming out shortly after. Double stable at that, ladies and gentlemen. The cambulances are underway, and their military units will shortly follow.
Yeah, I was actually just looking it up because I was so curious. And yeah, Industry Wing is the most popular Castle Age wing, according to the new AoE4 analytics page. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
It's not that crazy. Winston. You're just gonna repeat yourself. Winston, the amount of times you've repeated it.
In the future, this will be true. I promise.
Okay. See, guys, when sitting here with Winston, I sometimes ask myself, am I losing my mind?
No, I'm losing my mind a little bit. Sorry. I am losing my mind slightly. The Medi Gardens is getting dervished. I don't know. What are you seeing right now? I'm seeing dervishes and a scout raid the meditation gardens, which is cutting off the beautiful piece of that land, and the resources are being bamboozled. They don't know how to act when the candles are there with their sheets to hold people, you know? The berries simply cannot contain themselves in this moment.
This is all about disturbing the peace. When you have meditation garden, it's there for the meditation. The more disturbances of peace around it, the less resources it produces. Now, I know for a lot of you guys, this might sound like I'm memeing, but no, that's actually how it works. And this is why with those dervishes, you can't attack, right? But of course, you want to make sure that you try to act. That was not intended to be a pun. But VortiX now, he's got 2 units on the field. He wants to land with these. He wants to do some kind of damage. The problem is, Anotand, he's made a tower. And that kind of negates everything that I feel like VortiX could do in this scenario. Horsemen as well, there to protect.
But the dervishes, I just love seeing the dervishes run in as if they're the most threatening thing in the world. And then you remember they can't even hit. They can't even attack. They're just sort of looking on with glee. But behind them is the danger. And now a little bit of torching coming in. A little bit of a nuisance, a little bit of pick off. You know, it's fun to get a little silly on these matches because Hill and Dale can generally have a slower start. But this feels like the Octane is in the tank. It feels like VortiX here to play, right? He's trying to get map control, and I think he's going to be playing some pretty aggressive stuff here, potentially.
So, looking at his resource split, obviously, we're seeing he is going castle. But now we have 2 choices, actually, Winston. We have the industry wing, or we have military wing. So that's been a pretty constant click up for most pro players at this rate. But I have to ask myself, what do you want when you're up against Zhu Shi? And I guess a lot of it would just be units. So I'm wondering if VortiX feels the same way right now, especially considering all of these are going to be costing an insane amount of resources. And when you're running low on gold and you're up against a man who's now going to go for lances, you feel like you're on borrowed time. He has, however, made sure that it doesn't become too much of an issue by just walling up and negating anything that may come his way. Reinforcement wing is the name of the game.
You have like that third eye today, right? Just seeing the future.
I actually watched a lot of games these last few weeks. I've been casting a lot, so I had to.
Sense.
Yeah,
it's tingling.
It's like I actually played this game sometimes. Isn't that wild?
No, I love the reinforcement wing here. I think you're right. Just having a lot of units against this and several stables as well. So Camel Lancer plus the Desert Raider. Ooh. Would have been risky. Couldn't go for that because that is the Bald Man. So he has plenty of durability. The Shaolin Monks
Ooh,
have
and he's
a little more durability than the normal monk.
You're saying a little bit. That doesn't feel like a little bit. That poor dervish is gonna run for his life, and those lancers are not looking at stopping. They get a dervish, and the Shaolin monk goes down, but the next boy, he's on the way. The dervish, the one remaining one, is in shambles right now.
That was kind of crazy. That's not what VortiX was looking for on the opening here. Anotand with a big aggressive opening here, really just making it work. She for a long time was considered one of the best civs, right? Especially in the Prof Scouts meta, when that was all the rage and all anyone could do in any games. Haven't seen as much of it in recent days since the nerf, recent months, right? As it's been just a lot less oppressive than it used to be. But still, coming in hot here with this opening, and we're going to have reinforcement wings soon, but I don't know, it feels like Anotand kind of got what he wanted out of the opening, right? He's going to have access to several relics, already grabbed one from the middle, the ones on the north and the south, two on the north could easily be his, and he might even be able to snipe one on the south side of the map, or dare I say the one on the right, although I doubt that.
That dervish needs to move into position to pick up at least a safe one. Now, these Desert Raiders are starting to do quite a bit of poke. I wouldn't say damage just yet. We're not there yet. So he needs to try and get a relic at least. Because what this is going to end up being is Anotand with 5 relics if he doesn't move out now. But with all of these units looming, he probably feels that pressure. We do hear another relic being picked up, and VortiX is the one picking up that relic. I don't know. It looks like it's there in the south, and it doesn't look like it's going to be for free.
Maybe? Sneaky moments? Nope. On the run. On the run. And then he snags it back.
Disgusting. Anotand is everywhere. But now, he's got the reinforcements, literally from the reinforcement. But
it could roll low here. Yeah, it's scary.
It barely does any damage, though. These camels are tickling, but not doing much more. They are trying to make a little bit of a play here for those lances, but he wants to cut off this relic. He needs to cut off this relic. And he sees a little surprise there waiting for him. Juganu, the next part of this game.
Yeah, a little bit of poke damage here and there. The Wololo comes out, forcing VortiX back up a little bit. Not the best showing here for Anotand, as the micro not really panning out, and here the dervish can just snag the relic back. So a fun little battle, a little back and forth for this relic from the south side of the map. But in the meantime, Anotand did grab the other kind of neutrally placed relic on the north side of the map, and now there's just one left for either player to secure.
Now, the last one, I would say, for Anotand is definitely very safe. So he does win the Relic War a bit, but this is usually not your deciding factor when you are the Zhu Shi legacy. So I'm a little bit concerned about what the next step is here, because now he's found out that lances are not the answer he was looking for. He's getting more Juganu, he's getting more crossbows in the mix as well. And we see a few archery ranges coming on out, and the archer transition is the name of the game. VortiX is getting that very signature archer mass that we've seen from him. That's
an interesting option here for VortiX. Just rely on the Desert Raiders. he's not making a ton of Camel Lancers here on the back of this, and maybe just Desert Raider Archer for now would be good enough against Yugi Crossbow with some Lancer support. That could be an interesting matchup for VortiX long term. Anotand has been really relaxed, I feel like, on the production here. It doesn't feel like he's focusing heavily on it. He's getting techs now, like Wheelbarrow, some Eco techs, something that VortiX really has kind of neglected here. He's only gotten Wheelbarrow, really just barely starting to tickle the blacksmith upgrades. Ooh, Camel Lancers, though, coming in. Getting a little spooky surprise. Hello, Mr. Villager. Goodbye, Mr. Villager.
One villager kill. Wow. We finally got some damage. Just like that, Anotand is the first one to lose a vill. And honestly, I've been very impressed with these two and how few villagers they've lost throughout these games. But VortiX actually wants a little bit more. Now trying to just find more openings in the space, not wanting to set off any alarm bells by attacking the walls. He just wants to see what's going on. But +2 range defense is coming on in. And this is going to be important, especially with all of those Jugunu that he saw.
Yeah, this is quiet and calm game so far. Army, though, for VortiX. Wait, but are you getting nervous at all for Anotand here that his army won't be enough? Do you feel like it's enough? I feel like
Winston,
this reinforcement wing has really pumped out a lot of Desert Raiders.
I have a little bit of trauma when it comes to playing against the civilization Aeobits, because with enough Desert Raiders, it feels like they can respond to anything, and it doesn't matter what you make. And we're getting to a point where I'm starting to question whether Anotand's army is going to be ready for this. But at the same time, you may have those experiences in a normal civilization, but with Jugunu, maybe the game plays out a little bit different. You have to keep in mind, Jugunu don't do that well against the Camel Lancers, but they do better than your regular archer. So these Camel Lancers are plentiful. It's going to need to be seen if Anotand is fast enough to actually spread the fire and do the real damage.
I mean, I think the long-term setup for Anotand at this stage is a lot better, right? He has taxes working on his behalf. He has more eco upgrades by, like, a lot. So I think he'll be in a better position long-term. And he has 3 relics to 2, right? So his setup is just a little bit better, a little bit smoother right now. And if VortiX isn't going to take a super decisive fight, things could snowball maybe from here. This is where Chinese and Jushi both start to get a little bit scary, because we're starting to eye up the part of the game where they could very well be looking at going to Song Dynasty and maybe just starting to get the granary boom going, right? Just getting the granaries in general, regardless of like just getting it going, could be a big moment here in short order.
Okay, going for a granary transition in this position does feel a little bit risky. He's still got access to outside food sources if he starts moving out. And at this point, if you slow down this army by not producing and going for granaries, you are going to be cooked. And when I say cooked, we can see some Maginiques being built. That is the problem here. There's a very limited time frame for you to actually shut down this Aeobits before they get going. And you know that you're going to outlast your opponent on gold. So you probably want to hit them when the gold is still on the move out. And that's exactly what's happening at this moment. Now, VortiX is the one who needs to move out onto that second gold, while Anotand still has a little bit of breathing room for himself. But the Maginiques, it's going to make this so difficult. We can see on the UI, Maginiques are not showing up, but guys, be very certain they are real and they are here.
They're going to be evil and angry, and they're going to have a lot of power here, because this fight is going to be in this tiny little choke point in the front of Anotand's base, very likely, unless for some reason Anotand takes the fight outside. We do see a few horsemen and knights still. Horsemen and lancers, sorry, for Anotand. I'm not convinced those are going to be some crazy option here that will dramatically shift the tides.
Now, this looks like a pretty scary army, and with a front line, this could be insane. But we see Anotand knows that front line issue that may be here. You guys might say, oh, but the camels are a front line. Yes, but that's why there are spears in this mix. Anotand now making a lot of them. And you can see him slowly starting to move out on the map by getting those walls on the left side. So one little villager just dancing his life away. That isn't the biggest issue. The biggest issue right now is Anotand's base getting pushed in on, and it doesn't. I don't know if he has enough to actually respond to this. He's getting a nest of bees himself, but he's the one that's very susceptible to mangonel fire, especially with all those Juganus.
Yeah, this fight could get really, really nasty really, really quick, right? Like, just a matter of will VortiX pull the trigger. This is sort of his, I would say, almost a staple of VortiX's gameplay. Is he really likes to go for these, like, just killer pushes right now, right? And so this edition of the Manganiques, this is how he's won every single game today so far, has been with these pushes, and he is staring down the barrel of Anotand's army and says, I have no fear, let's tussle, let's go, bro, let's fight. And here he comes, the Manganiques. Gotta be a huge threat. There's only one nest of bees here, actually a second nest of bees for Anotand. Ooh, the big shots are coming in, but it is with the fire mode turned on, not the standard attack, so deals a lot of damage in a big area, but not as lethal as like a condensed fire.
And here we see the nest of bees. It's just standing a little bit too far forward, but they do make it out alive. The Manganiques, though, they are firing down upon every single unit they can, and finally killing off a few. Now that second shot doing amazing here. The nest of bees trying to perform miracles.
Oh my god, it's a total wipe. VortiX just demolishes Anotand in that fight. That was crazy.
This was a lot harder than I can imagine he anticipated. Anotand really learning to respect those Manganique hits, and we can quickly see how that skyrocketed onto one side. Now, that was the issue that I was mentioning a little bit earlier, Winston. If you go for a farm transition at this point of the game, it's so easy to lose control of your opponent's army. It's so difficult to just keep up with them. Every bit of resource you spend that's not military ends in a result like this. And it feels like VortiX just got the breathing room that he needed to get to that point with the army.
Yeah, we saw a lot of this kind of building up, right? Like, generally players go for slower strategies here, and so there wasn't a ton of action in the Feudal Age, but VortiX had a plan. I think he understood what his timing window was going to be. I think the addition of the Manganiques wasn't by a happen chance. I think this was probably planned from a very early stage of the game that, you know, Jushi is going to be kind of trying to turtle up on their hill, and if I force them into a ranged mass, this is probably the expected answer. And just look at the sheer number of projectiles here. Doesn't matter how much damage they do when there's just that many of them. The ranged mass just really had nothing to do in time. Spent more time dodging than hitting, and you just know that's a recipe for disaster there. Crazy.
Now, with what we have in front of us, we can see Holy Island is the choice here. And I am so excited to see Holy Island being picked. We do see that
got sniped.
Yes, and also, what are these picks? We're not getting KT on what? We're getting House of Lancaster. Now, earlier today, we saw a little bit of a spicy House of Lancaster play. Anotand hoping he can make this work instead. But
yeah, I think he's going to play standard, though, right?
He has to, right?
He literally said he'd never seen anyone build the Castle Lancaster. So unless he just spent the whole last series of VortiX vs. Beastie studying and practicing it, I have a feeling that he's not going to be doing what Baltoon did.
And I see in the chat now, Starflog just outing Mr. Anotand. KT is actually chosen for Anotand on King of the Hill. So that makes a lot of sense. Looking at his lineup as well, I can definitely see it having its place on King of the Hill. Although House of Lancaster also feels like a little bit more of an answer. He doesn't have a lot of choices for King of the Hill here. So now we're getting to that point where I'm questioning and I'm saying, do we still have all the civilizations Anotand needs to take this all the way? VortiX, though, he's still English getting sniped, which again, completely shocking. But he's still got Rus, Golden Horde, HRE, JD, Sengoku. This is not, or HRE, now getting picked in English. Those civilizations kind of make do on all of these maps. While Anotand, it feels like his options are a little bit more limited here.
Yeah, I mean, Delhi, Mongols. Can you really go that wrong? Nah, he's fine. And if
He's
it's true
fine?
that he likes KT on King of the Hill, he's fine. He's fine. Right?
You'd hope so. You'd hope so.
Right?
I'm a little bit
Right?
worried for him here.
Anotand the goat, right?
The goat, the goat. But okay, so we have Holy Islands, and we.
I was going to say VortiX's draft at this stage just looks so good.
It
So
does.
it is challenging to see how this will play out. But
Oh,
we'll
well,
see. We'll see.
what I'm really excited about here is actually seeing how Holy Island plays out for VortiX, especially considering this is HRE. Now you're up against House of Lancaster. Anotand plays a standard game of House of Lancaster. You're not expecting to put up with any crazy things. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. You get food from the water. You already get gold because you need to get gold. Scaling into a heavy landmass is not that difficult when you are playing House of Lancaster. You're already getting a lord from your first building, and you just get more from it if you wanted to pivot that way. So VortiX, on the other hand, with HRE, you get a chapel. That's great. Your economy is boosted, but you still have to invest on land to respond to that lord. And that is usually where things start to fall apart. If you are Anotand, you just get to invest straight on water, if you please. VortiX is the one that needs to make something on land too.
Dare I say mine word? Dare I say?
Winston.
Come on. Come on,
What-
dream a little. Live big. Live
Winston-
large. Reach for the stars.
I thought you wanted to go finish up and watch the Super Bowl at this time of day. Now you're like sitting here.
I got 3
getting
hours.
us-
We're good. We are fine. This is perfect.
But
Ideally,
Anotand,
this lasts just until then, and then it's perfect. I don't want a quick, 4 and out here. I want a show.
we do see that Anotand hasn't had the best
the mind
win
work.
rate. We'll see if he's that spicy.
Yeah, this
We'll
is a
see.
brutal head-to-head. This feels like it's a crime to show this online.
But some of these are a little bit older. Keep that in mind. And VortiX has
Yeah.
been farming everyone in KPMM. So to be fair, VortiX is a little bit of a Chad when it comes to KPMM especially. But Road to Wololo, Anotand won this battle in the last time. So we have to see if this is actually big though. Anotand beat VortiX the previous time. Is this the time that VortiX feels like he needs revenge?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know, man. VortiX looks so good. Like, he's been looking so good today. How can you do anything? How can you do anything to that? Yeah, exactly, Cal. Exactly.
So we're almost ready to hop on in, and we'll see what that initial game looks like, especially when we're seeing what is my opponent doing, how much am I investing onto the docks before I pivot to feudal. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk you through that so that you understand exactly what these pro players are thinking as they unfold on this war. And my biggest question is, who goes for the shoreline, who goes for the deep fish, and does it even matter?
I want to see Castle Lancaster versus the Mine Work. And anything else is subpar strategy.
Now,
No?
a bit of
Yeah.
an opening. Wow. We see a dock. Love that. But I don't see a dock on the other side. And that's making me question my life. Are we just going for spears? Yes, indeed. VortiX says we are going for water. Anotand has a completely different opinion. This man is being spicy.
Yes, let's see. Anotand with the spear opening here is kind of spice. This is kind of spice. It's a little hot in here. I love Anotand when he makes plays like this, because I think this is the kind of thing that can help differentiate. I mean, going for spear rushes on this map isn't completely foreign. This has been something that's been explored before, and Lancaster is certainly quite good at these opening rushes. So we'll see if this pans out or surprises VortiX in any really meaningful way. I don't think VortiX has taken the time to really scout or spot this. So this might be a slight surprise, the timing here, because I think there's still a villager there, which means it will get spotted and it will get attacked. Could be a problem. Villager spotted, spearman heading right there. Do we wait for 2 or do we start hitting now? I think we're going to start hitting now. Because you have to hit while you can. And the first bit of damage is through in this match. Anotand looking to get a little kill. He's trying to block with the scout. It's not the easiest mechanic in this game, and he does get a nice little block there. The prelate has been ejected for some healing, and that will be enough. The prelate running to the rescue of that villager. So cute. He's like, I can save you. I can save you. And he did so. Save her. And Doc now going to be the target.
And what's interesting about this is he's still making another fishing boat here. With him still investing onto this fishing boat, I'm expecting him to make a quick move here for the land aggression. So him aging up, this is something that he's going to be looking to do fast. Still having 3 on wood here. I feel like this man, he's definitely invested into this. And now Anotand doesn't have that fishing eco. He's going for his normal age up with that land pressure he gets from the Lord, just as mentioned before. He's going to be pretty confident in doing so. Now, what I would have liked to see here from Mr. Anotand is maybe one spear on the goal to try and shut this down. But he knows what's important, and that is shutting down the dock instead.
That's a pretty big investment here for spears, right? Is that even a 5th spear, or is the scout coming back? Oh, sorry, I don't know why I asked when I could just look at the UI, but I don't. You know, we talked about this. Being able to see, critical, and read, critical. But yeah, nice little bit of pressure. I mean, killing the dock right away. I don't know if VortiX is too concerned when he knows that there's no dock for Anotand, right?
Yeah, so this is just a little... Oh my goodness, Winston! Winston, what are you...
I fucking told you. I told you. You don't see me, but I'm doing like a... Yeah,
I can feel it.
I knew it. VortiX and I were on the same wavelength. It's like I'm the 3rd twin. I'm the 3rd brother.
I was gonna say, you would be the 2nd twin in that case, because there's no twins in the shenanigan. Oh my goodness, Anotand, you dirty man. Look at this guy. He's putting the spear in the corner. It's like he knew that there was a villager coming. Another spear standing right there. Villager, he knows what's up. Does the villager have good vision from there?
Oh? Uh-oh.
He's about to get a little surprise.
Danger.
Surprise. Oh, and the cheeky little dock from Anotand just coming on the side here, meaning Mr. VortiX is not going to be touching water anytime soon. He's going to need to play good old land.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. VortiX, though, going to have to retreat with the villager. I'm wondering about the mine work now. I mean, is it just horse and spear? Is that the play? Just to make the most out of all pikes? That could be the plan. The Abbey of Kings going to be in as well? Like, I feel like this is exactly what Anotand was looking for. 3 idled enemy fishing boats. You have a dock. Your opponent doesn't. Feels like everything just sort of went exactly the way he strategized. I wonder if he'll be surprised by the mine work, right? But maybe not.
Now, it does look like Anotand is absolutely ready for anything that follows, but at the same time, with 13 on wood, he is very happy to just be able to even go for fishing out of this. But it does look like he's banking up quite a bit of wood here. Does this just mean that he goes for a military ship, and that's exactly what he does? So with this, it makes a lot of sense. You want to make sure that you secure the water completely. And with that one lord, you know your opponent is going to need to completely overreact.
Yeah, things are heating up here. On the road to Red Bull Londinium qualifiers number 3. Things are pretty spicy, I dare say. Oh man. So, with this army composition, do you feel there's anything, like, that could go wrong for Anotand here? So fighting spears and archers. You have the Lord already, like you said, that's going to require a lot to react to. You're going to have easy access to all your upgrades, right? So we're already getting the ranged attack upgrade. That'll be in very quickly. Well, we already have that. We're getting ranged armor as well.
There's a lot that can go wrong. You have to keep in mind, VortiX is now just playing good old HRE. Good old HRE is a land-heavy, aggressive civilization that gets controlled pretty quickly. Anotand he needs to capitalize on this advantage he has right now. And this singular advantage he's got is him getting water. Slowly but surely. But it's like having a second TC. You need to be sure that you have the time to scale up. Because right now, you're playing against a guy who's one TC, all in, and you are the one booming. So, Hobelar's definitely an amazing answer to this. Him getting, is that a market or a blacksmith?
Is a market.
Yeah,
that's an interesting choice, just to help buy things, maybe buy the stone for the manor.
And I'm wondering if the manor is the answer that he's actually looking for. This doesn't feel like... This feels like a position where he just needs to get a lot of resources quickly. The villagers now forced to fear, but it does look like the lords are taking a bit of damage. These archer numbers are quite scary. And VortiX, with that mind work, he has a lot of power here. Let's maybe go...
Raid on the wood.
Raid on the wood? Oh, raid on the wood! Nothing...
Exciting!
Well,
yeah. The spearman.
What a little
gamer moment. That's a gamer spearman right there. Oh, look at that stance.
Now, Anotand was forced off of this wood line, mostly, as we see the constant pressure just a little bit overwhelming. I can see, I was about to say...
Please.
Yeah, that was a bit long for my taste. But Anotand is also going for fishing himself, but very slowly. Only one boat for now. I'm actually surprised to see he hasn't invested in one more, especially
he has
considering...
another dock in the south. No?
We would have seen a yellow dot.
Wait, he just built a No, he's got a transport. He's doing something over there. Look at that. Where's the transport going? What's in the boat? There's a transport going to the island of Holy Island with 13 units?
Understood.
He's going to gold. Was?
He's going to gold because he doesn't want he doesn't want VortiX to see what he's cooking. But VortiX is cooking something himself. He's cooking a castle, and a castle at this stage of the game, that doesn't feel like a bad idea, especially considering your opponent probably won't be able to respond to this. I actually just learned. Oh, I was going to say, do those lords regen under the king?
Under the abbey? Yeah.
Yes,
the abbey
yes.
heals. So you can go to the abbey to heal up. Not now, well, there's archers there. That would hurt more than it would help. But this is crazy. I love the transport fleet from Anotand. I think this might really confuse VortiX, because VortiX is running between all the golds. And so he might get the sense that he's winning on the gold game. He clearly didn't see the villagers make a play over to there. He might accidentally find out at some point. I mean, certainly if we get to Castle Age, because Castle Age is the next step, right? Oh my god, so many units just going down here for free! For free! That's easy money! Free! That's crazy.
He wanted to get that little piece of information, and he was desperate for it, willing to sacrifice quite a few of those. But VortiX, he's hitting castle, and the White Tower is now being aged up with. But we do see the Spearman. He needs to do a lot of work with these Hobelar's. They will find a victim, but the White Tower is coming on up. Now, unfortunately, with that one villager falling down, it means that 5 total already. Oh, that's a huge amount. But keeping in mind, 3 of those were fishing ships. The lords, they're looking to protect all of their villas, and now a wood line will belong to them.
What the heck is this? So, the game state. I'm trying to assess the game state as, like, a player. What do I think, from Anotand's perspective, is, like, my key step to winning? He's thinking a knight. I'm thinking, yeah, like, try and pick off your opponent's resources. Your gold is safe, so you can play kind of aggressive. Your wood line is secured, so you can play kind of aggressive.
Now,
he spotted the Regnants, right? He should have.
Well, this is also giving you a pretty good idea. You would not go in blindly. Anotand is a man of class, a man who scouts. So he wouldn't go into this blindly. He knows what people like to do here. And with all of those prelates, he knows exactly what he's up against. You can see with the stone gathering already, I love this for VortiX. This is going to mean we get some springalds and placements. He knows the strength of House of Lancaster, and he knows the strength of actually handling someone who has water. He just doesn't realize Anotand has water, but not the water you should be worried about.
He has 2 fishing boats on shorefish right now, right? It's not like this is like some massive water advantage. This looks like it might be a setup for like trade or just, I guess, more fishing boats kind of hidden, right, in case the dock goes down. I don't know. We get the barding armor for the knights here, and suddenly I really like VortiX's position. Even though Anotand has, like, the pieces for a win condition, I'm sort of thinking that the Regnitz is getting filled up. Isn't that kind of crazy? Like, that's 3 relics already.
This is an
And a 4th one on the
H3.
way.
He's not planning on staying in this position. I think VortiX, he's going to be very happy to go Imperial when he needs to. For now, he's going to be aggressive. He knows that the advantage cannot be that significant. But with VortiX, he's going to be aggressive. But when he decides to go, it's going to be a very, very easy switch for him to go to Imperial. So with all those relics, you are a very happy camper.
Yeah, 4 relics on HRV is just like, with Regnitz, it's like, you know, you know, if you know, you know. And I don't even need some sort of allegory to make you understand. It is the craziest thing ever. It feels great. And Anotand's economy is kind of mid at best, right? I feel like all that idle time really did add up in a way that I didn't anticipate.
And I honestly wouldn't have expected this game to be in this exact state. VortiX now, he's in a pretty good spot. Ooh, and we can see he's already making farms. So this man, he's going to have a pretty good economy. The thing is just, wouldn't fishing boats have benefited? Oh, actually, never mind. I switched the 2 players in my head around. Anotand is the one who needs to make fishing boats, and he needs to get ahead, because VortiX, once he does this, once he gets Imperial, water is not going to matter that much.
Not. That's kind of my point. It's like, nice little raid here. A couple more vills go down.
Now, with this, you see just more units coming out of VortiX. In gold, only 5 on gold, but not everything can be spent. He's getting every upgrade on the block he can, and constantly just pressuring with those knights. Anotand, he's got the water, but it doesn't feel like he's in charge.
I mean, he's not making units. He doesn't have eco. Like, things are starting to look dicey. Now starting to make a bunch of knights, realizing that's what he's going to need. But with Siege coming on the field, I could see this being just trebuchets and just going for, like, kind of a slow push to win. And here's relic number 5. That is
Winston.
crazy that he got 5 relics on this map. The only one he didn't get is the one that he literally cannot reach right now.
Winston, did you watch the game where the same thing happened? A player lost water completely, and then there was a push on land with a few trebuchets and a complete elimination. It feels like VortiX is tuning that. I can't even remember who the game was between, but it was crazy. And it feels like we might be heading that way, because Anotand just can't keep up with making the right amount of units.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a few games pan out like that. In this context exactly, it's certainly going to feel a little bit different, but with the potential for Siege in the front, I mean, it's going to be up to Anotand to really make enough army to take a sweeping, decisive fight. First trebuchet on the way, and this is just going to start hanging away at the White Tower, forcing repairs, even weakening the economy further of Anotand, because while you can repair the White Tower for a long time, it feels kind of expensive to do that. And it doesn't just feel that expensive, it just is expensive, right?
And now, that first trebuchet coming out, I don't see anything on the side of Anotand to actually respond to that. Usually, when we are on this map, we see a massive army difference between the two. But there's no water mass that Anotand has that is skewing these numbers. Anotand is behind in military. And VortiX, he's the aggressor here. We do see the White Tower doing some work, but Anotand is holding back. He wants to make sure he gets every bit of advantage he can. But the advantage, it doesn't feel like one right now. The advantage of having the water has not translated into units.
Yeah, and the mind work is working out, if you know what I'm saying. Right? Like, the additional armor on those knights is really, really valuable. And just everything feels like it's coming together here for VortiX. Like, yeah, sure, there's a little raid here, a little raid there, a little raid here. Everywhere you go, there's a raid, but it's not going to matter, right? There's going to be 3 trebs now, and That's going to be so much economic damage. And keep in mind, there's a lot of villagers that are stuck on gold. Those villagers on the middle lake, like, they can't do anything but get gold. I guess you could put them on food, on a couple of those shorefishes, but that's not going to feel great long term. Oh, man.
Oh, right now
wood.
he needs
Wood
that
is going
gold.
to be an issue.
Especially with this constant pressure here on the front line. He hasn't moved out there to the back, even with no presence there. VortiX's knights are dominating. And Anotand, he's just kind of taking it. Now with the villagers on Anotand's side, they are stuck repairing. And another trebuchet has joined the party. This means that, in essence, he's just going to spend so much idle time on this. You see all those relics just doing the work inside that cathedral, making sure that VortiX feels good about this. We see his villagers, none on gold right now, but he's spending every bit of resource that he can. White Tower goes down, and it feels kind of imminent.
Yeah, the timing here is just working out so well. The Regnet's churning away VortiX's machines of war, sending rocks flying into the base of Anotand. Anotand trying his best to put together some form of defense, but simply look at the army value. It just is not there for Anotand. He still has roughly half the army value on the field, even though his numbers are catching up. A lot of that is in these spearmen, which just aren't going to cut it in this big fight coming up. And now, the only thing left is the town center, standing between VortiX and being on match point for his way to the big deal. He's taking out the White Tower, which is ironic, given that he's trying to go to London, so he has to take out some of the iconic structures of London in order to get there. But this could be really crazy. This is great. This is to qualify, man. This is it. Here it goes, the town center.
VortiX doing an amazing job at just showing you don't need to water to make this work. Anotand, he's got he's pulling all the boys. The boys are repairing, but he knows this is it. This is the only fight he's going to be able to take.
This is it.
I don't think he has the units for this. The villagers are pulled. Everyone is pulled. This is going to be the massive fight. The villagers pulling a little bit back. They don't want to be the front line, but the crossbows are hammering away at those front line knights.
The Mangonel does take a shot before going down. Some decent damage, but honestly, the Vil pull, is it enough here? It kind of looks like it might be enough. Wait a minute. This isn't how the story's supposed to go. Let's check the TC's HP. Is it getting repaired enough? It is. Anotand, he's pulled everything to survive, and he will survive, but at what cost? At what cost? All of his eco is gone. Oh my gosh, what a crazy fight. And now the exchange, I think, on the back end of this, with the outposts there, VortiX might be able to push back this group of crossbows and then move back in with the trebuchets. The villagers coming forward to get some wood on the front lines, though. The trebuchets on the retreat. What a hold from Anotand, but is it going to be enough, women?
It's not. The problem is a lot of this eco that went down, they were villagers. You can see the resources just not looking like it's there for Anotand. He can't produce fishing boats because he doesn't have any resources. So even if he got that economy back, he needs to find a way to survive. And VortiX is just the one on the front line.
In.
Exactly. He's got the trebuchets. He can still fire away at this, and Anotand is desperately trying to produce anything. But the crossbows, they need to perform miracles here.
Yeah, I feel like VortiX might have needed like one more Mangonel to actually cut the crossbows fully. And now the trebuchets are tanking the crossbow shots, which is really critical. The Vil's getting pulled again another time. The villagers getting sent to the front lines because VortiX is just sticking the trebuchets to that town center. He's just training trebs to handle this. And I mean, 2 trebs go down?
And those 17 fishing boats, ooh, they are trying their best to make this happen. But you can see the crossbow numbers are getting thinned out. He's trying his best to get these spears, but at the same time, he gets to pull back and he just gets to remax his army. And he's trying his best to just keep on making units, but you can see even all the production falling one by one here. There's just no way for him to constantly keep up with this. It doesn't feel like this is the man with fishing. There's no food coming in. This poor man is stuck at 650 food per minute, while VortiX is at 1.1k.
He's aiming at the TC again. Once again. VortiX wants to take the series to 3-1 so badly. This is I don't want to call it desperate, but he's definitely like, this is sort of like, I gotta win this, right? Don't you get that vibe from this gameplay from VortiX?
Honestly, this feels like VortiX says, you are not going to let this water economy drive me out.
Yeah.
This is something I'm comfortable with. VortiX is very much in a comfortable spot here. He's the one with the economy that's completely boomed behind this. He knows even if he loses this whole army, it doesn't matter. He's done the damage he needs to do. He just needs to sit back, let the relics do the talking, and that 1k gold per minute, that is more than enough to carry him through this. And keep in mind, Winston is a best of 7.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Take it to make match point. Sorry, I kept. Yeah. You know what I mean. I know it's a post 7.
Yeah, man. It's fine. Most people actually forget in the finals, and then they're like, "Oh, he's doing it," and I'm like, "Oh no, we have 2 more games to go, Chief."
It just feels very tense right now. I feel like VortiX making this kind of play, it feels like he's desperate, right? A little bit, right? I think there's a bit of confusion. I think someone called out that it might be confusion because, yeah, how did Anotand get all the gold, right? I think that's definitely something that could be confusing. Like, migrating that many villagers to the central island definitely feels like it could be like, what is happening here? But he still has a better army, and now the Hobbler's in the mix. Is it going to be enough? The Spearman Hobbler army going to be the new composition to deal with all the crossbows, but a few yeomen have been added. Things are feeling dicey here for Anotand, whose whole economy is basically on the screen, and he will tap out. VortiX will go up 3-1, and as it is a best of 7, now he is on match point. This is crazy.
This was an absolute destruction. VortiX just showing us he is ready to avenge himself in this event. I think it was the first week where Anotand took him down 3-1. VortiX now up 3-1, ready for that qualification spot, and he is looking great. Losing the water, but he knows exactly what the strength is of HRE and playing to that, putting that pressure constantly on Anotand. And right now, Anotand is sitting here thinking, all right, I need to bring this back. Keep in mind, guys, Anotand, he's from Belarus. He needs to apply for a visa to go to the UK. And right now, the Belarusians are, I think this is one of the biggest hills to climb over. Qualifying for this event is one thing, but visa waiting times, those definitely stack up. Most of the countries, they require 3 weeks, but in I believe a lot of the countries, it's up to 6 weeks waiting time for a visa. So him not qualifying this week could mean that he is in a very tough position if he does qualify for the next one, because it might just mean he will not be able to apply for those in time. And that's honestly the real life debuff as well behind all of this. So for VortiX, this is not just Anotand's tournament life, but also just a lot of points. Yeah.
This fight felt crazy. Like, it almost looked here for a brief moment that Anotand might have done enough damage to VortiX, but I think, like, behind this, VortiX just has a better economy, which I think is the part that doesn't really add up. You know? That's the part that doesn't make a ton of sense here, why VortiX had a better eco here. I mean, the 5 relics really do matter a ton. It really frees the rest of your eco to be focused on other things. Like 1,000 GPM, right? Or 800 GPM or whatever it is just so much gold. It's so much gold. Regnitz is crazy when it works like that. Man,
and
crazy game.
It was fantastically played here by VortiX. I just love the fact that he knew how much pressure he needed to do here. And I'm honestly a little surprised to see Anotand was not able to just capitalize on this water economy and constantly be producing fishing boats, and in that case, also army from here on out. But it's all said and done now, as we are heading over to Frisian Marshes. And Taklak with Mongols was the choice here, with English being allowed. And I'm really happy to see VortiX picking English out here, because English was one of the civilizations he wanted on Holy Island. But now, he gets it on Frisian Marshes.
Could you imagine VortiX? He qualifies for Red Bull in England with, like, sort of the classic VortiX civ of English. It's been one of his staples since, like, the beginning. Even in the early days of AoE 4, as a little history lesson, like, English was sort of like a very dominant civ with the council hall builds, and had, like, these strategies where you would rush, and it felt, like, really oppressive. And people sort of figured out how to beat that with time, but VortiX felt like for so long he was still so scary with that similar style of play when it really fell out of like being popular or seen as like the best civ or the best way to play. And I love that he's able to get a chance here to qualify for it with the English here. Is one of his classics, something he's so comfortable on. Obviously the meta has changed a lot. I highly doubt we're going to see Council Hall, but you know, you never know. Maybe there's a hope here.
Winston, I know I doubted you last game. I'm doubting you this game.
The mind work just worked well.
I'm doubting you this game though, because you cannot forgo healing. Healing on a map where Mongols are so good at shutting things down. But of course, he's picking English, which means you're not getting tower rushed. This is the beauty of English against Mongols. You are actually negating a big playstyle of the Mongols here, which means Mr. Mongols could just go for water instead. So I'm actually quite happy to see that we get a little bit of English on this map, because when you have Mongols, you just see such an aggressive playstyle, which it's been working out, but English gives us a little bit of a different flavor on Frisian marshes.
Yes. And Mongols too. I mean, this is kind of an old matchup, right? Like, but it feels like it's evolved so much. And curious to see how Anotand handles Mongols here, because you know a lot of their aggressive traits can feel a bit rough. I mean, especially into English, you don't really want to spear rush English. I mean, maybe call me crazy. You think we see a Dark Age stable here?
We've seen a lot of Dark Age stables. I mean, not in
another one.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I would. Oh no, we see the villager moving straight towards a dock. Unfortunately, Winston, it was not meant for us.
See the follow-up. It could be what if he's building the stable here? He could still be building the stable here and then move it back to the Uvu. You never know.
It's
all part of the game plan. It's all part of the plan.
It does actually sound like a really good idea, especially considering that Mongols, they like having that extra bit of food buff. Anyone likes that little bit of extra food buff when you're up against any civilization you're rushing with horses. Horses are expensive. You need every bit of food you can get. But English also going for their own dock here. And this is be expected, right? You're not worried about any spicy plays coming out of the Mongols this early, unless it is a follow-up.
I just want to see the stable. And I just want to see it. Against the barracks, some man-at-arms, I guess. Of course. Let's go. No, it looks like very little Dark Age aggression here. It's so tough as Mongols on the water maps to justify it sometimes, because yes, it can be really good, but you delay your age up so much because you need the Uvu, then you need the production building, then you go to the dock, and it's just you're chopping wood for so long, and you're investing food into units. It's tricky. It really is. Like, I get why you just want to play the classic standard way, right? It makes sense.
Now, VortiX is going to be really investing a lot of here on the docks. And this is interesting because when you guys look at the split now, we see 8 on wood here for VortiX. Now, usually you have 8 if you're constantly producing fishing boats. You have to ask yourself, is this just going to mean more docks being added to make sure those fishing boats keep on going? Well, Anotand here now 7 as well. So he's also staying true to that investment. You want to make sure that you have the right amount depending on how deep you're going to go here. So VortiX possibly going to be moving out already. We do see a villager making his way out to the map and going towards the gold here. So going to start heading towards that, feudal age. I'm saying because I see another fishing boat being produced from the same dock. So this is not a new dock.
4. That's 4 on one pond. Sacrilege.
4. Sacrilege. We can only have 3. That's the most optimal.
It's making up for Anotand staying at 2 on this pond. No?
This one? Oh, yes. Then it makes it even. You're right. Wow.
Yeah, that makes it a 5th? No.
Wow.
Nay. This is a betrayal of the highest order.
This is illegal. So for those guys, those of you wondering, we're not allowed. It's not illegal. They're allowed to do this, but it's not something that any other player is doing. Yes.
What got built at the what got built at the UVU?
Oh,
What got built at the
follow-up. A follow-up, Winston. He called it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the
This man.
table. I didn't even pay attention because I was doing math about fishing boats breaking the law, and instead this happens, and this is cool, and this is neat. Thank you. So this can put pressure on basically everything here. Normally, you don't want to do spear rushes against English because their villagers just sort of shoot you, right? It's a lot less effective against the horsemen, and this might be a huge surprise. The villager... Anotand knows exactly where the villager is because the Khan spotted it, and now he's just running the horseman straight there. The wolf says hello, but the horsies say goodbye, and the dock gets cancelled, and the villager's on the run. The villager's saying, I'm Yaweka, and he's running way to the side, going to try and hide in the corner of the woodline here, but I think Anotand senses blood. He senses like a shark. He knows. He says, you're hiding somewhere. You're hiding somewhere, and I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. The wolf says hello, and the horseman is right there. Oh boy.
Now, luckily for him, horsemen don't have the best of vision, but he has eyes at the back of his head. Anotand, he smelled the blood, and he's gonna get the villager. But guys, what follows up with this is a council hall. And Winston, I will never doubt you again in my whole life. As we now see,
cooking some shit up. And this is it. This is crazy. Council Hall into Horsemen cannot have been the plan, but it's where we're at now. So this is kind of nutty. I think you still have to add a barracks now. That's what's awkward about this. Like, you don't want this to be the game state. Yeah, we have the barracks. Okay, so spearmen as well. Oh my gosh.
Now, the problem is just you don't have the food for this just yet. The horses, they're doing a wonderful job at just destroying that dock. You see, VortiX, he's got a lot of fishing boats here, so he's going to be able to deplete that dock pretty quickly. But two spearmen being the priority here, you want to move out and try to save the dock, at least for a little while. Fishing boats trying to drop off as much as he can because he needs to keep on producing.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Like you said, the 5 fishing boats is wild here, and now we're getting the horseman upgrade, right? I believe that's what's coming in here. No, he's not even aged up. Is he building? Is he building 2 more? He's building 2 more horsemen. He must be. That's crazy.
Oh, he's doubling down or tripling down at least, but he gets the gold. That's exactly what he wanted. Apparently, not anything more.
He wanted the money.
He gets the money, and now the follow-up. This feels like a Season 1 English game now. We have spearmen, we have longbows, and it's up against a bunch of horsemen. Actually, usually we see a lot more Keshiks coming out. So this is probably going to be our natural follow-up. I wonder if he's going to respond differently based on if he sees all those spears. He does notice that, hey, there is a significant amount here. VortiX just being Popcat for a second here as he's thinking about what's next. With all the villages he's got on food, though, I'm expecting him to just make a ton more spears for this push out, and the push out is underway.
Yeah, there's a slight risk you have of not having enough spears to defend at home while you're going for the push, and that's going to be what's happening here. The villager buys a little bit of time, but does go down, and now this longbow just going to try and get some pot shots before going down, and here comes the army. VortiX moving forward has a bunch of longbows, and the gold is going to be the target. Keshiks cannot be allowed to be on the field. An archery range is going to be the play. Anotand needs to match the longbows with archers. It's the only unit he can make unless he really wants to get a lot of Keshik going, but there's already spears on the field, and the gold vills will go down, but on the other side, the archery range hills goes down, so 2 for 2 there. Shit's getting crazy.
Yeah, with those longbows, you can actually outrange the tower pretty toxically, and that's exactly what the man is doing. Snack doodle do, as a wise woman once said. Every single one of those villagers paying the price, but the spearman numbers needs to increase, and they need to increase quickly. The longbows being right under this uwu, though, means anything that pops out gets picked off pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're going to have to bring back the horsemen. You're going to have to, or you're just going to keep losing units. Yep. Oh, so much damage. Even if it lives, so much damage. Oh my gosh. And here come even more reinforcements streaming forward, and this is sort of the classic situation. This is crazy to see this in 2026. But longbows are here. And they're back, baby. They're back. It's like Voldemort. He's just back. What are you gonna do? I wonder if VortiX thinks he's Voldemort in this context, because this is him really digging back to the roots, saying, I know how to play this style. I know how to win a game with this, even if it's not the meta. I know how to do this. He's gonna show.
Yeah.
Uvu has been taken down. Nice one.
Just on time. I just wanted to make sure we get that on schedule as we're looking at it. But with all those longbows, though, it feels like he is in a little bit of a difficult place here, pulling the stable back. But the longbows, they do a decent chunk of damage to this in its current card form. So now, with all of this, Anotand still has a pretty healthy food placement, I would say, with all of the fishing boats. But he's just not able to deal with the sheer mass here. Anotand, behind this, he's making sure that he makes as many units as possible, rallying them backwards. But the longbows are just having a wonderful day, now getting +1 ranged armor as well.
Yeah, he's got to run, actually, because I think at, maybe 20 archers, I think Anotand is going to feel emboldened to move forward here, and that could be enough. Remember, longbows are slow, right? So one of their weaknesses here is that if you get outnumbered, you get surrounded, and the archers are going for the flank here. This could be a big swing in this fight. VortiX has been playing so aggressively. He's felt so confident. Now the longbows are going to have to take a fight up against the dock. They're back against the water. The archers are here now with big numbers. There's a demo! There's a demo! Use the demo! Use the demo! Use the demo! Oh, he didn't use the demo. What the hell? What the hell, Anotand? He didn't use the demo. But he's going to clear up the army anyway, and this is going to be a big swing in this game as VortiX, who had such an impressive position, may have overstayed his welcome just a little bit and loses almost everything here.
Now, he does have the reinforcements coming up, so he will be able to save a few of these. You have to keep in mind, Winston, he's killed a bunch. He's killed a bunch of villagers, not fishing boats, and this is maybe where the difference might just come in. Actually, I just thought about it. Anotand had a pretty heavy horse raid as well, and he got his damage very well done. So,
5 to 4 vill kills, yeah. I mean, that includes fishing boats, right? But this is a tight, tense, close game, and I mean, so far Anotand has been able to stay on the gold, which is really crazy, which means we could see, I mean, he did invest in this demo, which is like a crazy waste now you think about it. That's so expensive, but if it had played out, that would have been sweet, but it didn't. I don't know. Now he just needs to get some upgrades, maybe some Keshiks on the field could be good. He's able to garrison in time.
does very, very smoothly. This man is very fast with every single reaction, but you can see VortiX is looking for more and more blood. Now with the Deer Stones being in a little bit of danger, it does absorb a lot of the fire that would be hitting. He gets the kill inside the tower, and disgustingly, longbows prevail, but +1 ranged armor will get built, and finally Anotand is the one making sure that he gets all the resources he needs to fight this next one.
This has me at the edge of my seat. Like, I literally cannot contain myself. So VortiX, he's looking at Castle Age, though. Women, dare I say,
What?
not going the White Tower.
No.
Dare I say King's College?
Well, King's College.
No, this is white. This got to be White Tower on the golds. It has to be White Tower right there, right in between the golds. Maybe to the left.
You want the White Tower because it's also a production building, and I think that's the key here. You want to produce things at the speed of light.
I wanted to believe.
Oh, maybe next patch. Who knows? I think the White Tower definitely has its place, and the place is pretty solid. VortiX wouldn't want to forgo all of that.
King's College. Oh gosh, and everyone's roasting me, and they should. They should.
Oh no!
It's King's Palace, and I know that. I know that.
By the way, guys, dev for the game also makes mistakes.
You shut it. No. This is maybe a little bit of desperation, trying to get just to get a little bit of damage. I'm going to lose a lot of units here. Now the longbow's going to have a field day. Network of castles kicks in, and the archers have to run. Not a lot of damage there for Anotand on the tail end of that nice fight to hold. That fight, I mean, if that fight didn't go well for Anotand, that was game. But he was able to hold, able to push, and now let's see. What do you think the follow-up here is for Anotand? Do you think he can try to get to Castle Age anytime soon?
Yes, I think he needs to, because this is now. Yeah. Yes, you're playing against English, right? This is not a civilization that is just gonna let you keep making your little arches and try to fight this. But actually, no, Anotand says, I'm staying in feudal. I want to fight this. He's making Keshiks. He realizes if he ages up now, he
crazy.
might be in danger. Now, at the same time, he has a significant lead here with those fishing boats. They are going to run out at some point. And when I look at the food per minute, it doesn't feel like he has that lead. So he does need to be careful, but VortiX now moving out and being a little bit aggressive here as the longbows are getting their upgrade. Anotand's completely denied off of gold, and now he's not going castle. Never mind, Winston. This man's stuck in feudal until the end of days.
I feel like if he just runs like 5 longbows, just runs them left, he could kill every single fishing boat and the game would be over. He doesn't know exactly where the army is. He just...
With that is a lot of damage they just absorbed. Look at those men-at-arms. Those men-at-arms, they are not messing around, Winston. Those guys are taking a pretty big beating from archers, and they will take it all day long. Longbows now kiting backwards. Like you said, they are slow, but they're going to be able to do the work here. The Keshiks, though, he needs to be careful. The archer numbers are pretty scary, and they are focused right on the longbows. Men-at-arm numbers are steadily increasing, and they will be able to do some damage to the archers, but the movement speed here from Anotand is kind of disgusting. Look at those archers. He's just cleaning up everything.
Yeah, he had the Deerstones or just south of this, so he's kind of able to chase a bit, maybe suspiciously fast for VortiX. I don't know if VortiX knew that the Deerstones was right there. And yeah, this is a interesting situation. Anotand still down in age, is hundreds of resources away. Like, literally the full cost of going up away from clicking up. And we're seeing man-at-arms out of the White Tower. No other production buildings, just White Tower, Council Hall. Pump it up, pump the jam, let's go. This is a crazy army comp for VortiX. No scout, no nothing, no vision, just go.
And this honestly speaks to VortiX as a personality in general. He says go, and he will go. Look at the men-at-arms absorbing everything, and now they're gonna get extra beefy. Longbows trying their best, but the men-at-arms, they are the name in the game. And we can see those longbows firing away, but very quickly thinning out. The men-at-arms keeping the Keshiks at bay as well, but those Keshiks will heal up as they're going. You can see Anotand desperate to get to castle himself, though.
Yeah, but he's lost his mass. Like, this is... He's pushing forward here to trade off against longbows, but he's going to lose everything behind this to these men-at-arms. He's going to try and run, but, like, look how low his units are. Just a few longbows will be able to pick everything off, and now VortiX's army can barrel down back to that golden. I'm struggling to see how Anotand's going to handle this. I mean, I guess he's got the Keshik. He's got the Keshik.
The Keshik numbers are just not enough for this just yet. You see him now migrating to the gold on the other side. He knows he needs to make sure he gets there. Now, with the Kana Hunter, he queued up. Oh, quickly cancelling it. He's like, no, not yet. But staying in feudal all the way. And I'm really surprised to see this. He knows how difficult the men-at-arms can be. They don't have +2 ranged armor, though. VortiX not finding that too important just yet. But the units, they're looking for a fight.
Can we click on one of the men-at-arms?
Yes.
Does he have armor clad? Oh, wow, yeah. So he doesn't need ranged armor just yet, not against anything in the feudal age, and the men-at-arms just holding their ground against the Keshik. The Keshik, though, gonna move the building so he can get the surround, and now the archers running down the longbows once again. And the Keshik are gonna clean up these men-at-arms. They can heal. The men-at-arms not dealing enough damage. It sounds like, I almost feel like we need a few crossbows from the council hall here to deal with this Keshik mass.
The problem is with the archer numbers, Anotand is just constantly focus firing what he needs to focus fire, and he's doing an amazing job at that. But he heard you, and he's getting a crossbow right now. But he still has to be careful, because these archers have been showing immense strength in containing this. More archers on the way, says Anotand. He says, more archers, less problems for me. But Mr. VortiX is the one who needs to question where he's going to be getting food forever, because he just doesn't have the same... I would say... He's still got 1.2k food here. It's absolutely disgusting to see how fast he's gathering.
Is
and this
VortiX
might be from the
farm
deer.
transition? Yeah.
Does he need to?
Are there any farms? Are there any farms? Whoa.
He's getting food elsewhere.
No, that's no farms. That's crazy, yeah.
He realizes...
Wow, that's bold.
He's confident in this. The problem is you're up against the guy with the Keshik civilization. If they decide to pay you a visit... Things will get out of hand.
The Khan, it's not Batu, it's it's the Mongol Khan, and he technically sees that. That could be such a huge freaking swing if it were to happen. It didn't here. The villagers on the gold get pushed away, and now, oh no, the armor-clad man-at-arms in on the wood line. That's the bread and butter of all this archer production for Anotand, and that's gonna get idled out. Oh my gosh, it felt like just a few Keshik going to those berries would have been huge.
Those Keshiks coming back to clean up the men-at-arms, but they're gonna pull the army towards all those vills standing there. We do see a little bit of a movement with the rest of these units towards them, and he backs out instantly. VortiX knows how dangerous this can be. Now, a lot of these longbows getting picked off, and I can't believe it, but Anotand is...
The demo, it comes back! It comes back! It's full circle! It was a genius play! We just didn't see it at the time. He was looking 10 minutes into the future. We thought he was thinking 15 seconds into the future when he trained that and didn't use it in the previous encounter by that pond. That was crazy!
VortiX now holding off ideas thread as the Keshik numbers are just too overwhelming. Anotand, he does it! He does it! It was the demo all along!
It was the demo all along! It was the demo strats, baby! The demo strats! He ain't got shit on the demo strats! We all laughed. I laughed. Everybody laughed. Nobody believed in the demo as much as Anotand. He knew that demo would have its purpose. That was crazy. That was such a funny game. I loved how crazy it was. Chaotic. We had the Dark Age Horsemen. We had the Council Hall into just total YOLO spam, and VortiX not able to pull it together there. It really looked like a few times that Anotand was on the verge of collapse, but you mentioned it a few times. Having that eco-fishing economy there to really pull ahead, and he kept investing in it. He kept trading with the longbows, with the move speed from the Deerstones just kind of placed obnoxiously in the middle of the map, a little south of the main fight line. So every time that VortiX was in a state of retreat, those archers were just so much faster than the longbows, and you kind of wonder, VortiX never built like an outpost forward, never got his military bonus online with the network of castles, wondering if just that little piece missing was the difference maker there.
Now, Anotand, he definitely feels...
Oh yeah, slow-mo, baby.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now, of course, honestly, Winston, I still feel like the demo, this was not the game deciding moment.
That was the game.
Okay, okay.
You
because
can't
of the
convince
vibes?
me otherwise.
Because of the vibes.
Purely
Yeah.
vibes.
Okay.
Not factually, but vibes based. Hell yeah. Think about it. Think about it like this. What if this was the point where Anotand started winning out, right? And he actually is the one to qualify for Red Bull. Don't you think that demo? We talk about this. It's for the annals of the history books. It's for it all. That demo needs a statue in Belarus somewhere. You know.
Could we get this demo ship as a statue in his town center though?
Oh.
Is that a dev request we can make?
Yeah. We'll see.
Ooh, I'm intriguing though.
I don't know.
After all that passion, now I'm hopeful. But honestly, I'm so surprised at these Keshiks. The Keshiks did amazing work against the men-at-arms. And it begs the question, what if he went for knights instead of just men-at-arms? Because the men-at-arms, I felt like with the Keshik numbers they were handling, the Keshiks just kind of out-healed every single thing that the men-at-arms tried to do. I really hope Twitch chat can still hear us, because what we see right now is a little bit of a step... Streams.
It's a tiny little oopsie, and that's not a problem.
Oh, we're still here.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, it's just the replays, guys. We all survived. But we have front range. And now Golden Horde on the field. I'm actually really happy to see a little bit of Golden Horde. We've seen Golden Horde on this map. It is disgusting. But Delhi, I feel like they can deal with a little bit of what Golden Horde has on offer, though.
This feels like, I mean, VortiX did just lose the game, but with his final civ. Like, that was his last civ in the draft. Certainly not his strongest civ by any accounts, right? Like, English hasn't been a top-tier civ for a long time. And now it feels like Anotand, the uphill battle may have just begun, right? Because Golden Horde, against Delhi here feels like it could be really good.
The question we usually have on Front Range is where people go for food. What is the food source push out? And with Delhi, you don't have all the options available to you as you do with the Golden Horde. Of course, them not being able to get boar, but it does put the pressure on you that you need to deny said boar from your opponent. So Golden Horde has a pretty good ability to lock those down, especially with those extra spicy towers that we do see people losing a lot of units to. One type of gameplay we saw a lot last week was when Wham was so committed to his towers. And keeping those towers alive was a lot of what I would say qualified him into the tournament. He had some pretty clutch towers. And I feel like Golden Horde, they're the pure example of clutch towers. And especially on a map where there's a boar, you definitely want to invest in something crazy like that. But Dark Age? Nothing. Nothing for the Dark Age. Both of these civilizations do absolutely nothing.
I don't see anything happening in the Dark Age here. I mean, bar some miracle and we get some crazy shenanigans. Anotand has been known to cook. He's a known chef. It's a known fact. But
chefing,
Delhi, it feels hard.
He will do. Yes, Delhi definitely not a civ that people are going to be spamming Spearman with anytime soon in the early game. Wheelbarrow coming on out, crazy. Wheelbarrow in Dark Age for Delhi, wow. No, definitely not going to be expecting anything crazy.
You're trying to give that as much hype as that you gave the demo. It's just not going to work. It's not going to fly.
It's a meme.
I know. Oh, I know.
But you have to ask yourself here, is Golden Horde actually going to get the opportunity to move out? Because with Ghazi Raiders, pretty much shut down anything that moves out of the base. Golden Horde takes a pretty long time to age up. Delhi doesn't take a long time to make a Ghazi Raider, so it feels that it could be very oppressive quite early on.
Yeah, there's certainly some risks here for VortiX. I feel like there's definitely some risks early feudal. We've seen similar matchups him against Beastie when Beastie was Golden Horde. It didn't look good. Just with the timings because of a Dark Age, though, right? And I think if you're able to get things rolling with the Golden Horde, they feel really smooth. But it does require getting a few of those Astra thingies set up, right? 4 vills on them, right? I always forget the name of Stockyard, right? Like those always take a little bit of time to get set up, and it could just be a little awkward, right? Especially when you're trying to make 2 or 3 units at a time. You have to like sort of wait for a bunch of resources, so raids can be sort of hard to deal with because you don't have as like consistent of unit production, and those little downsides can add up a lot in the early game. But we'll see how this pans out for VortiX though, because he's such a clean and smooth player, generally speaking.
Now, getting into our feudal age, Winston, are we seeing not the Torah goods for once?
No, Nosferatu's on holiday now. There's no future that we are seeing that is any different than the meta. I think VortiX can afford to try the production building one. Although I still think it's stronger. I still think it's better. But that's just a me thing. I'm allowed to have hot takes. I realize that. I'm allowed to disagree with myself. And part of that is I wanted to be wrong. Can I be real? I was secretly hoping that by saying it, I would like speak the opposite into being. Does that make sense?
It does, and it's a very valuable opinion to have at the same time, because you want the game to be spicy. It's all about the demo ship. After that last game, what could top that? Just not seeing the Torah goods coming on out. Now, how does the age up work? Because we haven't seen enough of it. So I'm gonna ask you this: you get your 2 free production buildings in feudal. You get another one in castle, right?
You get like another 2. It's crazy. You get a lot, and then it can be a monastery later on. It can be a siege workshop later on, and that's like a lot of wood in castle age. So like in short feudal ages, just getting all those production buildings. And what I like to do with it is go stable range, and you can immediately pump archers without having to chop wood for forever. Because that's sort of the problem with the civ, in my opinion, is getting out like early archers is really challenging, because you just can't. You literally can't get enough wood for the range and the archers batch. And then you need the second archer batch, and it just feels like the production speed almost means you're idling the range for a long time, but I digress. This is obviously being played by players who know the game very well. VortiX knows his builds. He knows them well. This must be stronger. It's just, you know,
It's not as great.
It's not a hot take if it's right. You know, that's another hot take.
And what's great about that, Winston, is all the pro players are disagreeing with you in chat, so you really got them fired up. And I think that's the most important. You want to ask yourself, what do I need to get out of a cast? And it's, you know, getting the people to voice their opinions. And for all we know, they could all be wrong. And you could be the right one all along. You predicted Council Hall. You predicted the Mindware Palace. What's next?
Nothing. I don't think there's any other surprises here.
Okay. Damn it, Winston. I was really looking forward to the next hot take. But we do see a Ghazi. No, nothing crazy here. Ghazi boy coming on in. And the Khan and his Torguts are going to be following suit. Now, with the Ghazi only coming up now, I was about to say, there's a villager that's going to find his way out here, building yet another... And this, which I can't help it. I have to do it once per game. Survive.
Okay, fair.
You'll survive.
Fair.
So getting that second Uwu, uncontested. Ghazi is taking a very long time to get here. You see, the chat gets riled up every single time. Just like when you make your hot takes.
Well, I think if you don't have one hot take per game, then, you know... I don't know. I was about to say, like, are you even trying? But, like, obviously you could still be trying without hot takes. Because you could just be right. You could just be, like, smart and correct about things, and then you don't need to have hot takes, right? And I just realized that's probably a better state to be in, right? We should all be, like, we should all aspire to be, like, Crackety. You know?
With the passion. Ooh, he did get a villager.
The Vil dies.
Inside the tower, the hit goes right through the wall. Damage was done, but deer will now be available for snacking. Now, this means that this is mostly going to be untouched for a while. The good thing about this map is that's not the only spot you get to raid. You get to raid everywhere. Look at those Ghazis. They're not going to mind taking these Torguts on because... they're going to do great against them. And if the trade doesn't go well, what are they going to do? Right back to the base, heal back up, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, Bob is your uncle. I actually do have an Uncle Bob. So that phrase is always its own. Yes, let's see now. Anotand. Gotta try... Oh, you tried to get a little bit of this around there. The Khan, Batu, maybe out of position briefly? No. Batu's speedy. Batu's got the boots. He's good to go.
Batu healing right up now. He is living every
it's alarming.
single time. He just tries to get us. You know, those flashing lights, this is what we were scared of all along. But
we need like a warning, like a strobe warning. That, like you're photosensitive, you know? Like at the start of a movie.
Guys, just remember in the chat, !blame to just blame Cal for all of our concerns that were raised this game. Thank you very much for your service. These Ghazis, though, they're going to need to protect these boys, slowly tapping that sacred site. And with all the spiciness coming out of those horses, Spearman is ready to receive them, but the numbers are there and they will get us around, which is just going to tell him he needs to get more.
Scholar! He keeps him alive. The hero. The hero. Batu in shambles, dude. Batu is in shambles right now. He cannot believe that Spearman just lived. He just traded a lot of his classic life for that, and now the Ghazi's hot in pursuit. Oh, man.
Ghazis are going to be able to catch up with this and get a little bit of a hit every single time, but one of the scholars do go down.
Oh, down, yeah. Being pulled way to the north here does kind of feel bad because you're really trying to get access to the central parts of the map for that sacred site, and yeah, Delhi also feels awkward on this map with only 2 sacred sites. Usually you want more opportunities, but Anotand just feeling his comfort pick here. He's always played so well with Delhi in every tournament for the last couple of years. It's just one of his comforts. He's so good with the aggressive style, with just massing units and fighting and microing. Let's see here, VortiX though.
It's absolutely wild to see this heavy amount of presence coming out with all these Ghazis, but Anotand now spots the Spearman transition, and I mean, it's pretty good response he's already got, getting his own spears. VortiX, though, he hasn't revealed those archers just yet. So with this, you still have to ask yourself, how many archers are going to need to actually handle all of these Ghazis? VortiX, though, getting a lot of horses in this mix too. And we've seen his micro. It is scary. Getting +1 attack at the moment, but +1 defense already in for Anotand.
Yeah, I don't think there's any number of archers that really help you against Ghazi. Right? The Ghazi handle the archers in a lot. You need a lot of archers before that gets crazy. The Spearman, though, going to be a nice help here because Anotand doesn't have any archers of his own, right? So Spearman... The one downside is Anotand can engage with his spears first and then just use the scholars to heal. Because Anotand is going for this big scholar play. And currently most of them are garrisoned, but we could be seeing a pop at the end of Feudal Age. And actually 4 are already out. It's kind of nutty. He wants to secure this. The spear's walling up. The Ghazi go for the raid. Oh, but the base. Oh, the scout sees the danger coming. The scholars have to hide and run. The spearmen are a little out of position, but they will get their Batu. Trying to get his damage in. I love calling the Khan Batu, by the way. It's my new favorite thing.
Oh, poor Batu is gonna land right on top of those scholars. If Anotand's not careful, the spear's not ready to impale. They do not want to make any kebabs tonight, but Batu backing off just in time.
Yeah, and this is where it gets awkward for VortiX, right? Because he's okay. Like, Anotand is okay taking the fights, and now he's just going to commit. This is a full commit.
The problem with this is the archers are target firing constantly. And we just see the army value. Definitely looking good here for Anotand. But you have to keep in mind, most of those are scholars, but they're keeping them alive. The archers are doing their best. The spears are... Oh, they're all falling. Scholars were not able to keep them alive.
The spears are gone. The spears are gone, and Batu Khan stays alive. He stands supreme. The scholars are going to be forced out. This could be the game here. Anotand, he took everything out. He popped all the scholars. He's running. He went for gold, and he comes out broke. Oh no, everything falls, and the scholars forced to retreat. The sacred site's not being captured. That's a huge gambit. A huge gamble that did not pan out. That army mass is now just almost a huge amount of wood wasted on walls that aren't going to do anything. And the resources on the right, is that berries? No.
They're about to get a visit, and Anotand is nowhere near responding. Ooh, he's responding, actually. But he doesn't have the numbers to contest this for long. He needs to be careful, and the archers, they're ready to pick something off. You can see this is pure aggression from VortiX here. He's only got 4 on wood. He's producing as much as he can with everything else. 21 on food, making sure that everything comes out, and it comes out hard. This is very tough for Anotand here. He's eventually going to start running a little bit low on being able to replace these, especially with the wood lines starting to thin out oh so slightly. But now, slowly moving out to the berries, it's looking...
Yeah, a big thing there was VortiX traded away mostly spearmen and kept the archer mass alive, which, like, I feel like is going to be a boon to him long term, right? Because against the scholars, you want to have the focus fire. You want to be able to one-shot things.
Oh, but the spears
this
are
is
gone.
A lot of Ghazi.
The spears are gone. There's nothing
a Karash
to help
in the
this.
mix. There's still one Karash for the armor. Goes down. No more bonus armor.
And the Ghazis, they're doing such an amazing job. We see the archers here just trying to focus
Scholars,
by everything.
what are the scholars doing? The scholars are running forward. They're taking so much damage.
Oh, and it does look like he gets the spears focused down, but the Ghazi numbers are not as healthy as they used to be here.
Oh my god. Oh my, that's crazy that Anotand was able to pull that one together a little bit, and it's still pretty close. This is so tense. This is so tense.
The Ghazi numbers just can't keep up with all these horses, and the spear reinforcements are starting to do the work. The archer numbers are just not replaceable for Anotand here, and he's doing his best, but he has to back off, and another scholar goes down. He's only got 4, soon 3 left, and this is not the deli you want to be in this spot, because now your food's running low, your opponent is starting to transition as well. That's 12 villagers already fully immersed onto their transition of food forever. And VortiX is going to keep this aggression going, if he so pleases, but this time in castle.
Yeah, VortiX has just enough to go up after all of that. Having enough resources to go up, securing the boar after winning a fight, and clicking up is crazy work. VortiX is just so ahead at this stage. Even though the numbers are close, just the overall position, the value from these fights has been so good. And that boar wrecked a little bit of havoc. I think an archer just got boinked for that one, but fair enough.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. It's so worth it, I know, but
He's gonna be able to snack on that poor boar right there next to the body of the archer. Kinda gross, but food is food, baby. Food is food. Now, with the age up, it does take a minute and a half still, so this is gonna give him a little bit of time to either respond or land an attack, but Anotand knows he did not take the best of fights. With this back off, he should know something is up, and that's exactly what's going on. He moves out forward, and straight towards the boar. He should be seeing that boar disappearing from the map. He knows what's up. And that's a lot of Ghazis.
that's a lot of Ghazis and not a lot of units on the field for VortiX right now. Obviously, that age up was a greedy play, and Anotand's going to sense an opportunity here. We do see the Muscovy Yasak as the age up, so we could see a few of those units called from the Uvus to get a little boost to the military number the moment he's up. Also, the wood income is really convenient. We'll see.
Anotand, though, he stopped producing as many units here. Now going for a few more spears and quickly queued up a few more scholars as well.
The backup was crazy. The backup was crazy. I thought he needed to force the fight here if he wanted any chance. Like, I don't see what he's going to do. He's not anywhere close to aging up. He's not producing units, so he's just going to wait, right? He's just going to just try and hold out and hold for some age up, but it's going to be so far away.
This was a little bit of a moment for him to actually move out and do the damage. And you say you thought he's going to need to do it, but that was the reality. He just doesn't know that that was such a critical moment for him. And now with the age up in, he knows what's happening. The problem is his upgrades, even when he does go castle now, they are going to take forever. And VortiX is not in that same position. This is not a Delhi with 1 million scholars who will get those upgrades at normal speeds. You are going to need to wait. House of Learning being made with 14 now. He's trying to get this up, but it's still a very far way away.
Yeah, the problem with aging up with the House of Learning here on the back of this, right? You already said it. Traded away 10 scholars on a play for the middle of the map control earlier, and it did not pan out. Whoa, let us speak there, but the upgrades are halfway in for VortiX, and I mean, maybe he'll get out of position here a little bit. Like, doesn't have that many units.
Oh, but the archers being the front line here, that's a tough one. And you see, they're about to hit their upgrades to the spears. Trying to force their way through. House of Learning about to finish, but what then? That's the toughest spot. He doesn't have the food to make any units.
He gets the upgrades and he fights. He just fights. He's just gonna fight.
The TC fire doing a lot of work here on the backline, but the spears need to follow through. The archers doing everything to just get rid of the spears. TC focusing on those archers, but it's not a lot against those veteran ones. It is a very deep dive here for VortiX, but he feels like this is it. We do see the commitment here from Anotand into the spears. He's still making more of them, but the upgrade is not queued, and that's just going to be a bunch of feudal age spears against this, but it feels like it holds. At least for now.
Nah, the Torgids and the Kashik are too good here. This is too much. This is too many units. Everything's going to get cleaned up for Anotand. He's going to have nothing left in the tank, and the reinforcements are streaming across the map and could go straight to the right. There's nothing defending the right side of this base. That's all the economy. This is it.
44 idle villages. He lost a ton of units here, but apparently it was fine.
The chunky boy to save the day. He says, everybody stand back. I got this. That's exactly what he says. Look at the conga line of migrators trying to get to the wood line. That's it. There's not enough room for all of these villas on this wood line. Wait. I kind of got to see that. But can you look at that? Fair enough. Nope. An idleville. Not enough space.
Poor guys.
Oh, man.
He does No, he does get a little bit of wood here, but this is not going to be enough to actually fight anything. VortiX is just pumping out more and more and more archers, and it's constant. I feel like Anotand, he might have that elephant, and it could fight off for a little bit, but there's no food income for him either. You can see every little resource just completely under his control.
Yeah, all that Anotand has right now is wood income, right? He's got literally every villager on this tiny little forest, hoping that it pans out, hoping that it's enough, and it's just not going to be. And VortiX is gonna see this. He's circling around the back of the base with his Torgoods and Khan. He's got Batu in the back looking for damage. Nothing to be spotted because there's no economy there. Every single villager is right here on screen. VortiX smells blood. He sees the economy. Everything is gonna go down. There's one elephant doing his damn best to hold back the tide of the Golden Horde, and is not gonna be enough. The villagers being forced to fight. Anotand feels it in his bones. He feels the defeat just on the edge here.
Winston, we gotta talk about this elephant.
Did he just hold again?
He held, but not the hold you want to hold. This is purely a survival. This is not something that is considered a hold. I feel like a hold is when you kill some units, but he may have killed a unit, and the rest of them...
Let's not change the definition of a hold. He held. He held.
An elephant in a dream, as we see here.
An elephant in a dream. This is it.
Yes.
That he's got some squad. Got a squad.
He's got a tiny squad, some spears. Ooh, he's got the scholars, the boys already. The farms, not manned just yet, but the elephant. You're gonna have to go past him.
Yeah, this is... VortiX sees it. He smells it. This is his ticket. If he can kill this one elephant, he will go to the semifinals of the Red Bull tournament. He will go to London to be able to try and win this tournament. This is such an insane qualifier for the finals, and looks like he's gonna make it. VortiX feeling good, looking good. The Vilpul's coming from Anotand. Anotand finally taps out. The elephant goes down, and VortiX is gonna make it. What an incredibly thrilling series. This was such a fun set of games. Wow.
This was a wild set of games at that. VortiX really... I kept us at the edge of our seats every single time. And honestly, gave us the show we could dream of. Anotand as well, with those clutch demolition ships, just really turning the tide and showing us that anything is possible with the right amount of hopes and dreams and vibes. 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with this count we have here, we see that economy, it held up. He got raided. He kept them alive-ish. He just wasn't able to keep that going. I feel like in that game, he had a moment there where he could have attacked and possibly just absolutely wrecked the economy, but was not sure about that position. And finally, looks like VortiX, he knew exactly how to hold back and strike where it hurt.
That's crazy. That timeline is crazy. Anotand really just didn't... It sucked. It sucked for him there. You could tell he just did not want to give it up. He did not, because that's... It's going to be tough. There's one more qualifier, right? The week 4, sorry, is coming up. And that's going to be really hard. You know? That's going to be a challenge.
We have some pretty big names also in there. Could we, if we could, Mr. Production, could we take a quick look at the bracket to just see which one of those big names we'll be expecting over here as well? Mm-hmm. Oh, I love when that works. All right, so on the top side, we have Seed 1, which is Puppy Paul, who this week might not be Seed 1 anymore, with Myriad taking him down 3-0. So, but Puppy Paul, he is definitely a force to reckon with. We have Puppy Paul here. We've still got Luciferon in the mix, Beastie. Now VortiX making his way all the way through. You have Anotand here and the dark horse called Baltoon.
Yeah, it still feels like there's still several different players who could qualify. Isn't that kind of crazy? That's kind of crazy. This is must watch AOE4. That's crazy.
It feels like when we had this type of situation with all the players, it was definitely a very different split 2 years ago. You had your clear top 4, and VortiX was in there as well. So pretty consistent performance. He's been up and down, but honestly, VortiX is still a deadly threat in every single tournament, and you never know what you're going to get out of him. Mm-hmm. So Winston,
good. I feel like he's so consistently great, right? I mean, I think what stands out with VortiX for me is, like, I think he really has such a great sense for kill threats and when he has lethal attacks available, right? I think we've seen it in every single game that he's won. He's won because those he senses the attack, he goes for it, and gets just a crazy timing and wipeout. And then on the other hand, when he's losing a game, we can tell he just didn't quite make that happen. It's so few games that happens though. It's so consistently consistent. It's incredible stuff. And you have an interview, I believe, Landon.
Yeah, VortiX at the ready. Let's go talk to our winner, our third qualified player for Red Bull Wololo, Mr. VortiX. Looking good. Even GG Dog predicted it earlier. So, how do you feel about that last match? Are we good?
Yeah, feeling really, really well right now. I think not only because I won, but because I think I actually played my best. That's always a good feeling. So yeah, really feeling great now.
Honestly, watching those games, I think the whole of Twitch chat was at the edge of their seats. Everyone was shaking. Everyone was just waiting for the next move. Did you feel at any point in that last game that you might lose it in any of the trades?
Not really. I thought I was ahead all the time, but then when I decided to move back and go to Castle Age instead of just keep spamming units and pressuring more, I felt maybe I was throwing, because at the end of the day you cannot like H up very fast, right, with the golden ore. So I was like, okay, I'm doing well, so I can back off and H up, but even though he's behind, he's gonna be up at the same time, right, because he can actually power build his landmark. So I was like, maybe I'm actually throwing and I give him time to make one elephant, which is what I didn't want at all. But apparently it was the good call, I guess.
And I guess with your attack timing, you definitely hit him before any upgrade could matter. And I could see that commitment to that fight. You knew it was now or never with that. But when you were aging up, there was a moment when he looked like he was about to push out. And it felt like he could do an insane amount of damage, but you pulled back, ensured that your army was in position for any type of attack. Do you think that, I mean, bluntly, do you think Anotand has a good chance of qualifying next week?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he can qualify, but so can Papibo, Beastie, Lucifron. I think if any of them have like a really good day, I think they can make it. So Anotand, obviously, he's been doing well, but I wouldn't say he's like a huge favorite compared to the other three. Even Baltune, he has been playing really well lately. So I think maybe he has a chance as well. But yeah, any of those players in a good day can make it. I guess Anotand has made it to 2 finals in a row. So he could be considered the favorite, but honestly, I think it's close between all 4 of them.
Yeah, Anotand's been farming that prize money for second place every week. Must actually feel pretty good. Maybe he's just like cooking all along, leaving the best for last. So, VortiX, I'm not going to keep you here for too long. I know everyone is excited to really just soak in all those games. It was absolutely wonderful to just see the prowess of English being used. You really showed us that there are more picks to this draft. And you didn't win the game with English, but I do want to ask, is this still a comfort pick? Is this still the VortiX signature Civ?
No, not at all. This is just the typical situation where it's a very long series, so you are gonna end up playing one bad Civ for sure. In my case, English was the throw pick. Like, I knew that map was gonna be impossible with how my draft was. So I mean, I just tried, and actually I think I was way too scared of him going up to Castle Age when maybe I had more time than I thought. So I could maybe just spam units. Making Menatan was a terrible choice. I should have made Knights for sure. And actually maybe I could have won it. But yeah, at the end of the day, English is garbage. I was just, it was just my throw pick.
This feels like that moment where Marine Lord releases a tier civilization and he puts everything in like a bad tier, then picks all of them in a row. So preparation for Wololo.
Marine Lord wins because of mechanics. He has no clue what he talks about when he talks about the H4. So you shouldn't listen to his tier list that much.
The tier list in question, guys. We can see Marine Lord with some spicy opinions here, but keep in mind those are before the nerfs. So nothing in S tier. He's a liar. Dirty, dirty liar. So, all in all, are you feeling like you have a chance of taking the whole Wololo at the main event?
For sure. For sure, I think I have a chance. Everyone there will have a chance.
Yeah. I think people are really excited about you in general, just because of your playstyle. You're very aggressive. You're always keeping the viewers on their toes. But it was definitely a pleasure watching. Congratulations, and we'll see you at the main event.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.